to a Patron Q&A. No, not Shardcast. It's not Shardcast. This is a Patron Q&A. We have not done one of these for a while. We're supposed to do this quarterly, so oops. But we're here presently. At least some of us are here. But you know,
well, those of us who could find the official 17th shard uniform.
Yes, we are actually all. Marvin and I were wearing the same shirt, and so Getty's like, okay, I can change. Nice. So yeah. Oh, this is crazy. We have been doing a lot of things on the shard. I don't know. Like we have a new clips show coming out. So because that's what we need, more videos. Have you guys watched all the videos on our channel? Probably not, considering the Shardcast to everything else. But that's fine. Shardcast is like our flagship thing. So that we've really trained people to really like the really long content. And so the short content, they watch very briefly, and then they, you know, just stop watching. What's up?
Will he wear? No.
Oh,
David, put on your uniform.
What is that? I don't. Oh my god, I don't own one of those.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's acceptable. That's acceptable.
Yeah,
hey.
That's funny. Okay.
Yeah. Oh. Something fell. That's fine. It wasn't a cat.
Was it a candy? Yeah.
But welcome. We should probably do introductions. Evgeny, what's up?
Hi, nothing much.
Okay. I'm Eric. You may have heard of me. Hey, what's up? Marvin, what's up?
Yeah, nothing much either.
Wow. How's it going, David?
Saturday.
It's going good. I'm marveling at the shortest Argent introduction of all time.
I know, right?
Well, you gotta keep him on toes.
That's true. You don't want to expect it. I'm also a little jealous that I'm neither floating in deep space of the Cosmere or standing next to Wax and Wayne looking serious. I don't know.
Wayne is specifically looking at you, Marvin.
He's like, who's this guy?
Just give him the side eye.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, green screens are cool.
Maybe I too can like wield the weapon like the cover of.
Support us on Patreon and we can buy people green screens, I guess.
I don't think you want to deal with me in a green screen.
That's true. I absolutely don't. For those of you who don't know, David sometimes has some technical difficulties.
Sometimes.
But through no fault of my own.
That's true. To be honest, very recently, like 2022, things have been really solid.
They have been.
They've been really good.
I carried.
We have a new Patron goal.
Yeah.
What's our new Patron goal?
New Patron goal in chat. Get David the Shardcast uniform.
Oh my god.
No, it just so happened that Marvin and I were wearing the same shirt.
Yeah.
So Evgeny changed.
That's because I have dedication and leave nothing to chance.
I also just saw that literally, like, today, we have hit 17,000 subscribers, which is very cool.
Oh,
and I think we'll do. I think we'll do
stream.
Yeah. No. We'll do. Since you know we're the 17th shard. Ooh, hi. We will do like a celebration thing later, so that'll be pretty cool.
Eric, we've been informed that you are wearing an Alfar shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, it's reversed because I'm screen capping Discord. So you know what? You can just look. If we were on the overlay, I can fix that. I can't fix that for the stream. So you know, you don't see the stream anyway. I'm always wearing a Brandon Sanderson shirt for the show, and none of you ever see it because it's just like, wow, you're wearing a t-shirt. Wow, incredible. That's why on the Brandon interview, I was like, okay, I'm gonna wear my teacher uniform of like, you know, a nice dress shirt.
But people in chat are saying that you're wearing Alfar shirt.
No, I know that, Evgeny. I know, because it's what I'm seeing on Discord, because I'm screen capping Discord. There's not an overlay.
Okay, we have this conversation every time. I don't understand how many.
Yes, you can see, yes, because I flipped there, but they don't get to see that. What the other Shardcasters here get to see is this entire video frame all reversed, but you guys can see that this says Taldane. But none of the other people can.
It's too small, though. There's no way to know.
Well, yeah, they have to make it big. Okay, so what we are going to do today, everyone, is we are going to be answering questions on our Patreon. And so we probably won't have time to answer questions in chat, but we'll see how we go. Yeah, and so let's just get on into it. I suppose if you're a patron, you can submit something. So I'll put that in chat. Maybe that'll work. But then I just have to remember to refresh the page. Very important. Okay,
yeah, we can get through these questions and we can do live things.
Yeah. But hopefully we won't be here for a billion years, because guys, we're recording a lot of things, and there's a lot going on, and
It has been a busy season.
Recording span reads that may not come out for at least maybe. No worries. Cool. So our first one by Hubrisnexus. Yes, I pronounced that great.
I'm gonna go with Hubris Nexus.
Yeah,
sure. That does. Those are two real words squished together. That does work.
Yeah, there are some vowels that aren't there.
Look, so, you gotta channel your inner Thalen.
Yeah. So he says, I kind of wanted to ask Argent if he still thinks the Scadrian Cognitive Realm has Rasharan Spren there, and if so, if that would imply Thydakar is definitely a happy dude. And there was a sort of a response to that. He made a post about this in 2016, 6 years ago, by the way. Yeah. And someone on Reddit posted a wob that said the same. I don't know the wob.
You made some very emotive faces right there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Arjun, do you stand by your comments from 2016 or do you not? No.
Do you remember what you said in 2016 at all? Because I don't remember what we said in the Oathbringer Shardcast in 2017 at all.
Yeah, I memory.
Okay, let me unpack. I will stop channeling my inner Thalen.
Is this where you just show your shirt and you're just like Raffo?
And I will channel 2016 Argent. So Argent was 26 in 2016, give or take a year.
God.
He had some bad opinions.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
I'm not a politician.
You're the Lord Ruler. You don't make mistakes.
That's true.
But maybe it's time for a change.
You love that line.
I do love that line. It's very quotable. It's one of the few things the Lord Ruler actually says. That was anything indicative about him not just being I'm a evil overlord badass.
Look, I feel the Lord Ruler on a spiritual level.
You do?
Okay, Scadrian Cognitive Realm has Rasharan Spren in there.
I feel like the question, what time is during what time period is really the crux of the question, because I think we're.
So I have no memory of saying that or idea why I would say that. So if you want to
what there is a thing in chat. Will there be secret novel spoilers? We'll put Stormlight 5 in secret project questions. I don't think there were actually any, but I'll just put those at the end or something and give you warning. So I just wanted to say that. So
smart.
Yeah,
because which of the Leather Bounds, I think it was Hero of Aegis, came out and it was they'd swapped a few lines and one of them was Spren.
Spren, that's right.
Oh, instead of
along with the Brolins.
Yeah, but what's that have been 2018 now?
Put in chat.
Sprite before him.
Yeah, I think Sprite was changed. But Brolin is still there, okay?
They put Shade in, too.
Yeah, Shades and Spren are in there. So that is some spicy, deep lore that probably very few people know about.
Yeah, but I think that was 2018 that Hero of Ages Leatherbound came out.
I think I do remember the Reddit wob, which I think Brandon had said that maybe there are a few here and there. And people were losing their mind because they're, well, how can we have Rasharan Spren on the Scadrian Subastral when the Spren are tied to their planet, right? And they can't leave. So I don't think there are any kind of in normal circumstances.
Mhm.
I maybe there's like 1 or 2 or 3 exceptions that somehow have managed to make their way there, but yeah, I don't see how that would work anymore. But if you find my post from 2016, I'm curious to see what Past Argent thought.
I maybe should have responded and like asked, but I didn't do that. So
Well,
rip.
Yeah, I think if they were too many, Kelsier wouldn't need to go kidnap. Like, he would just be like, "Hey, how'd you do it?" He wouldn't need to be like, "We're
Mhm.
sending agents to Richard to kidnap a herald to ask him 7 different questions that I need the answers to."
YouTube is recommending now would be a good time to insert ads. Creators earn more money inserting ads. It's like, yeah,
you guys
'cause
want ads?
Our YouTube revenue is really what's gonna break the bank here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
And if there are any in the schedule in Sub-Astral, I think it would be like maybe some of the lesser ones.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily
yeah.
like one of the Radiant ones, or say even Sapient ones.
Yeah.
And maybe it's
And
easier
so
for
you couldn't
the
exactly
lesser-
ask them. Mhm.
Right, maybe by virtue of them being less invested, they are less tied to their native Sub-Astral, and so they have an easier time leaving or something.
Cool. Let's do the next one. This one's from Jeffrey Polly. The Stormfather, the Sibling, and the Night Watcher are each associated with different types of light. Do you think there are top tier spren associated with Warlight, Voidlight, and the yet unnamed Odium Cultivation Light? And who might these spren be? Yes, David?
Not yet. I think there could be. There's the potential to be, but I don't think that Honor and the Sibling was created intentionally by Honor and Cultivation coming together to create a being that was part of both, and I don't see either of them having done that with an Odium thing, unless Odium like unmaking something is enough to do that. In which case, maybe there is something out
Agreed.
there.
Like, I think it's possible, but the shards would need to intend to make a hybrid thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas the lights are
wasn't-
sort of inherent, right? Like, you could get any shard and potentially there could be some certain hybrid light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I assume that there'd be a being
I-
that naturally produce it.
I think there is a measure of, and this is my Cradle fandom peeking through.
Wow.
Okay.
I think there's a measure of authority to what the Stormfather,
That's the
the
16th
Night
shard
Watcher,
right there.
and
Authority.
I mean, I mean, probably not.
Probably not.
But like there is, the Stormfather doesn't control Stormlight by virtue of the Stormfather is a very big spren, right? And that is also the case for the Sibling and for the Night Watcher. All 3 of them were created and kind of imbued with the ability to have some measure of control over the investiture of their respective shard or shards. And so I don't think you can just put enough investiture together to be like a Stormfather-sized spren and have that spren naturally have, control over Warlight or whatever.
I don't know if I agree with that. That's an interesting point, but I'm not sure.
I mean, with a new vessel, anything's possible now, I guess. Assuming.
Oh yeah. Oh
I don't know. About
yeah.
that.
Well, hey, Cultivation and Odium seem like they're not currently on terrible terms.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's very plausible, right? Like that's very plausible.
Yeah. That is something that I cannot wait to see where that goes. But
Oh my god, give me Stormlight 5, Brandon. Cool.
hey, he's 3% done any minute now.
Oh, I thought it was 7.
Wasn't it 7?
It's really 7.
I thought it was 7.
Yeah, something
Very
like that.
important, David.
Yeah,
That 4%.
The difference-
I'm not saying it is
and that was
really-
like months ago.
Yeah.
I've been a little distracted. I'll write 4 books and just revise them all. It'll be fine. We can get it done.
I will just do the thing that I hate the most about writing.
Yeah,
But I'll do
Brandon
it
does not
4
like
times.
revising. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Mist Mage asks, what is the cast speculation on how Endowment selects the returned? Is it random? Or the in-world theory that each of the returned has a grand purpose they are brought back to fulfill? it tracks that some returned, like the 5 scholars, have some purpose foreseen by Endowment, but many returned certainly don't, especially the ones in places other than Hallandren, who just live for a week and then die, likely don't accomplish anything. And if there is a purpose, wouldn't it be easier if the returned kept their memories? No other magic system we've seen, except on Cell, but those shards are dead, so it makes some sense, and even then it's tied to your location, is as random as Endowments. I wouldn't say the Geode is random.
Well,
there's
we don't know a
weirdness.
lot about that either, though.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
true. Ooh, we're getting way back to pre-2010s Brandon
Yeah.
of just like, ooh, what is going on here? You know?
Yeah, this is what we talked about before Words of Radiance came out. We're like, time to talk about how the Sheod and Returned work, because that's all we had to work with.
Yeah. Because it's like we have no idea what the hell's going on with Stormlight before Words of Radiance. Because like I don't know, there's a lot, but we don't know a lot of it.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, and in my forum profile, I believe I still have linked in my signature a theory that I wrote about how Endowment selects the Returned. I don't know if I stand by it, but I haven't thought about this since then, so I'm gonna fall back on that.
It's gone in your coffer mind. You put it there, and this is forever. Yeah, nice.
And at the time, I thought for the adult Returned, it seemed like a lot of them had given their lives for something, and Endowment was giving it back, and that seemed to me to be like a possible way. Lightsong gave his life for his niece. Blushweaver gave her life, spreading the truth before she was assassinated. We don't actually know that much about how most of the Returned come back in their lives before, but that seemed kind of reasonable. But I never was able to quite fit the child Returned into it. Like I was like, I don't really know how that one works. So
stillborn Returned.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Just like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
everyone
To be
loves
fair,
those.
that is just so weird. The stillborn Returned. Like what is going on here?
Yeah, but I do think that I think people are a lot of times like, what was the point of even bringing them back for 7 days before they knew how to keep them alive? But there is a component to it that Endowment also knew that they were only going to live for 7 days. So she probably did pick people that could accomplish their goals in 7 days at that time. And then once that knowledge became widespread, you've got a tool that can be much long lasting in the case of Azure.
And what was the wob that Brandon said Endowment isn't the most consistent? Being something like that?
Yeah. It definitely made it sound a little capricious, but
I think there is an element of randomness to it. Like she has to keep returning people, or she doesn't have to, but she does it because if she wants good return, so to speak, like people like, I don't know, Vesha or others who, I don't know, can do something with their powers, she must show the people, okay, yeah, this is something that can happen to you. Like if she just
it needs to make it like a regular thing.
Yeah.
Because if you want long-term plans, then you do need like a certain amount of people who like, I know that Returned are a thing, I know that Breath are a thing, and to have that be sort of self-sustaining.
Seed the database a little bit.
Yeah.
It could be maybe Endowment only returns an infant when she wants a change in power in Hollandron. Like if I don't know how closely she pays attention to the world or what her overall, and we know almost nothing about Endowment.
Yeah, that's true.
Aside from the letter.
Go listen to our Endowment podcast where we didn't know very much what's going on. That's where Josh, our fearless leader, was on the one episode.
I don't think I have like an opinion that is very interesting or anything like that. I imagine Endowment just like looks at people, like looks at the spiritual realm, looks at fortune or whatever, and picks, essentially cultivates, if you will, a future that she wants to happen, right? I don't think so a little bit like preservation and Vin and maybe says unclear. So I don't think she has like a grand plan to the extent that preservation did, in that, I'm Endowment and I want something to happen 4,000 years from now. I will start nudging things a little bit so that by the time it is 4,000 years from now, the outcome that I want is inevitable. I don't think she's doing that. I think her goals are much... I don't think she has a singular goal that's like big and she's driving towards. I think she has a lot of varied interests, and each returned, or at least some of the return that she brings back, assuming like no randomness or anything like that, is being returned because she deems it more likely that this person will help those smaller goals of hers. A bit like what cultivation does with the old magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's probably that it's like, hey, maybe there is some sort of grand plan, but I think it's much more like, okay, I'm seeing these possible, like, these futures shattering, and like, if I do these things, the future will be better off for whatever she deems to be better for herself. It's hard to say, right?
And
yeah.
She is endowment.
No, Mark, go ahead. I've talked plenty. Go ahead, Paleo.
She is endowment. So if her intent is like pushing her, it could also just be pushing her to endow people with power. So like she has to have that ground noise, I guess, of endowing people, because that's what her intent drives her to.
Quota.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and,
like she feels this need to return people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Yeah.
I think that.
And then she picks people that would help her goals, but she doesn't always do that because I don't know if it's a dark age or whatever. She doesn't have anyone there to return, so she just picks whoever, and they become a vampire.
That's true. I also think that there's a couple things. I think it's interesting that, unlike the Sheod, which is kind of the most similar process, that they do get the chance to say no. I'm very curious how people turn her down and go, I'd rather not be a return. Like, thank you, but I don't want to resurrect and not recognize my family. Sorry. Yeah. And I do think that based on what we did learn about Endowment from the letter number 5, I don't even know we have no way to refer to these anymore. The
it's
letter
the
to
first
Hoid.
Oathbringer letter.
There we go. Yeah, letter 3-1. Where, but she seems very
filing system.
Yeah, she seems to be one of the shards that is most strongly committed to the whole isolationist thing, and so I wouldn't be surprised if she was like, you know what, like I'm a micromanager of Nalthis. I'm not that interested in what's going on elsewhere. Maybe I'll accidentally put Nightblood in motion, and I'll throw that over to Rashard to punish Odian for being too involved in other stuff. Maybe I'll throw cultivation a weapon, but I'm not going. But I'm gonna mostly just focus on what's going on.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh,
that's what I was
she
thinking.
She plays
tall,
not wide.
Yeah,
whatever she's doing is probably local, and she's
Mhm.
not like meddling in other.
Yeah, kind of more like Harmony is, at least at this stage, where he's mostly Scadrial focused, it seems like. But, like maybe some feelers going out elsewhere, talking to Hoid, but, There
is an interesting aspect in this question of just, like, the memory loss thing.
Yeah.
It is kind of interesting. I don't know how much of that is just, like, sort of how the magic would work. Like, I imagine Endowment could change it if she wanted in some way.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But
I think it's. Yeah. I'm with Lightsong on this one. She does it because it serves her purposes better.
Because the memories aren't gone. Like, they're actually not. They come back to Lightsong. They're in there somewhere, but they're just not accessible.
You just have to wait to a dramatic moment in the plot to have a big character moment.
Hey, maybe your destiny, Eric, if we're looking hemologically.
It's great story. Amnesia is always a good storytelling device. It's like, ooh, we remember at the dramatic moment. Let's do this next one. This next one is from Andrew Redfoot. I don't know how much we'll get into it, but pitch a Cosmere themed theme park land, complete with rides, restaurants, and must-have merch. So, I'll see you in 3 hours when we come up with a good plan.
Must-have merch are Suni pups.
Yep.
Suni pups have to be there. But his pitch is that the location, Silverlight, rides, wind Windrunner, Skybreaker, Dueling Coaster, or Coin Shot Coaster. First of the Sun Family Raft Ride. That's pretty good. Restaurants Ramen Quick Service. Okay. Horneater's Stew Sit Down. Merch, Rashara Bestiary Plushies, and Adopt a Larkin, Spheres, Mistborn Coin, Ars Arcanum Bookstore. Those are good. You gotta have city pups.
Yeah, you've definitely thought about this a lot more than we have. I think that Bridge 4 would definitely be a sort of ride, and you could kind of do like a cool, like, start out on the plains, like you all get on the bridge and the seat comes down and you're starting out low, and then it turns into Bridge 4 the airship and you're flying around.
Oh,
the whole
that'd
Disney
be
style.
Sweet.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
I think I would want. So Silverlight is nice because you can throw everything in there, right? I think I would want to keep it more focused, and so like go deeper in a specific place. And Roshar is a great candidate because of how wacky.
There's a lot going on there. You can justify all sorts of things and have a zoo from Shinovar and Roshar and fauna
with regular animals, and you're like, whoa,
look,
it's a chicken.
Look, if you're on, most of Roshar, then that stuff is exotic and interesting. Okay, it's just it's like, whoa, there's a giraffe. By the way, reminder: giraffes are in
Area 2?
the northern continent.
Yeah, because the roughs are the African savannah. It seems like.
Isn't that
and
cool?
they just don't talk about it that much. Yeah,
giraffes and lions.
Yep.
So what I want to see as a theme park thing is I want to have, so one of them is like a high storm thing, and I don't know how that's going to work out. I haven't thought about this.
String you up as the high storm comes at you. The VR experience.
I mean, that's one way to do it. Follow the life of
like
Kaladin.
thing that you're in is like shaking as like boulders hit it and stuff. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's gonna be like a thing you ride a cart through, or if it's gonna be you sit down and maybe you're protected, maybe not, if you want to have like real water splash against people and stuff like that. But then you have like high winds and storms and like screens projecting what's happening outside, right? Kind of like those restaurants, storm shelter restaurants that Adlin and Shallan went to. So maybe you do it that way, right? So the story you tell is you were in a safe place, but you can see the high storm approaching. You can feel what's happening out there. And the other thing that I thought was kind of this is weird. Following Zeth on his murder spree.
Well,
that's not dark.
So maybe that's not gonna work out. I don't know.
Maybe,
but like you're riding a cart, and it's like a horror attraction, but instead of like jump scares and zombies and monsters and things like that, the jump scares are Zeth showing up out of nowhere and like either flying through or like running across the ceiling,
stabbing you,
like that. Murdering you to death, right?
Why are you making me do this?
You could really do some interesting perspective things with like, whoa, I'm like looking like, oh, it seems like I'm on the side of a wall, and as you're walking through like some sort of, I mean, it's not Disney's like haunted mansion, but like doing perspective games with like lashings and things as you're walking by. I kind of want a theme park zone where it's like going through the forests of hell and like just have a very moody atmosphere thing. Like that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I was gonna say like either a haunted house or the amusement park near me was Silverwood, and they used to do Scarywood around Halloween every year, and they would
David, I've been to
the whole
Silverwood.
park. You've been to Silverwood? That's funny.
Yeah, well, because we were. I mean,
because
we're kind of because I was in Montana. Yeah.
Silverwood provides a lot of protection against the shades.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
If they're all,
You'd rather be in Silverwood.
The trees are not made of silver at Silverwood. I will just say.
They're not.
Some hot garbage. But
false advertisement.
what other cool things?
You could have like Six of the Dusk inspired water ride, where you also have it's also a little horror themed because you have those underwater creatures.
Yep.
You have something like that as well.
Oh yeah. If it wasn't unethical, you could have a whole like SeaWorld style thing with the leviathans and whatnot. And you're like,
yeah. Then maybe we'd see some frickin' leviathans. That'd be great.
The deep walkers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. You could go to Braze. That wouldn't be fun. That'd be like the timeout zone if you've got in trouble.
Oh my God. Well, look, your kid's misbehaving. I'm sending you to hell. That's what really gets the parents to keep coming back to Cosmere Land here. If you're not good at the theme park, you're going to hell.
They've always got to have a holding area for the people who are causing issues.
Okay, so there are a few more Andrew, Redfoot, and Miss Mage questions. I'm going to start by just going through people's first question, and we'll get back to these others. Okay, Ryan Lessard asks, odds Hoid is a dragon? We know dragons can shapeshift. R from Yolan, and he seems to have mostly avoided the challenges that arise from living unnaturally long. I think we know he's not a dragon.
Chance. He says he was human once. Like I think I feel pretty confident he's not a dragon. I don't think that.
And we also have wobs to the effect of, he was human at one point, but now over all this time and all this magic, it's a little weird, but like not weird to the point where he's a different species.
Yes, he's like human plus now, not like
Is a Steel Inquisitor human? Yeah, great.
Well, Brandon said no to that one.
He's a Hoid sapiens.
Yeah. Cool. So we will get to some duplicate questions, but I'll just make sure to get people's first question. Oh boy, this one is somewhat like the theme park one, and I don't know how much detail we're going to get into. Pitch your ideal Stormlight Archive TV adaptation season 1.
Season 1.
With several questions: live action or animated? Network or if animated, art style. Showrunner, main cast, voice cast, story structure, world building. Oh boy. I mean, I don't know how in depth we can go on a stream. I do think animated would be really good. Also, I'm not sure how casting threads tend to devolve rapidly, let's say. I don't know if you've been on the internet. But
that doesn't matter because we're not doing casting threads.
We're not gonna do really that.
I don't know enough actors to cast.
That does help. That I don't know things.
Voice actors for
voice actors.
Yeah.
I do think animation would be preferable. I have like a great fear that we would finally get a live action adaptation and it would just look kind of silly. And that would be more than it being bad. It looking kind of silly would be more heartbreaking to me a little bit. Where people would be like, "Oh, that's the thing that you've been talking about for 10 years," and I'm like, "Yeah, but it's cooler in my head, man."
I think it can look cool in live action. It would just need a really big budget to do.
Yeah, it would. It would just be hard. Yeah,
it's so difficult because whenever the images that I have in my head when I think of like Stormlight is. It's not live action. It's not even animation in the style of like Avatar or Dragon's Blood or anything like that. It's like in my head, I see game cinematic animation. So like high fidelity, near realistic, but with like very detailed is not the right word. Very well done. Special effects, VFX.
Like the Blizzard cinematics.
I see the Blizzard cinematics.
Good, yeah.
That's the truth. Yes.
Fascinating. For me,
so this, I would like, I don't know how feasible that is. Like, on one hand, Blizzard is a gaming studio and they're able to produce like, between 5 and 20 minutes of these every couple of years. And so maybe like a movie company can do better. I don't know. Maybe you run into bottlenecks. I have no idea how all of that works. But I think I think that's the way to go with Stormlight.
Huh. The WoW movie did not look great to me. I did not see it.
That's not
the way it.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I guess that's not it's not quite the same
Can
animation.
I have a hot take? The Warcraft movie is not as bad as people said. I thought it was fine.
I didn't know there was a Warcraft movie.
It wasn't great, but it
I
was
saying StarCraft.
like it was like 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, I don't know, I don't think it's better than that. Like it's all
like
right.
it's like 20%.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's pretty low.
Look, I've seen worse movies like that. Like I don't know. There's a lot going on, and it's like I don't know. It could be worse. Could be a lot worse. But like if you set your expectations so low, then it's like I don't know. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. I think when I think about what I would see it in animation, I think about it like it would be in the style of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and more Legend of Korra, even where I think they'd pushed it along a little further. I think that would look great. In terms of specifics for the first season, I would not be upset / surprised if they moved things around a little bit. I don't know if Brennan would let them, because it seems like he wants a more faithful adaptation than we perhaps saw with some other stuff. But I think that having Shallan in the same area as Kaladin and Dalinar to start would be a good idea. And I don't know if you'd have to wait for the Voidbringer reveal and send her and Yasna to Kharbranth later, or just do that totally different. But I feel like that's a piece where I'm like, getting the main cast all in the same place and interacting with each other as soon as possible feels like a higher priority to me than faithfully preserving. I love Kharbranth and I love Shallan and Yasna, and they can still be mostly together. But
well, also like Shallan's whole first plot line, I feel like I would not say it is cinematic for the most part. Like it's mostly like we're studying. Right, and
it's like a horror thing, a little bit, honestly.
Well,
like
I mean,
studying, and then it turns into like,
that's
am I going crazy?
Like, yeah, and like the lesson is very cool. Like I would want something like that, but like for the most part, I feel like that whole plot line is better suited in a book, right? With just the way that like we're seeing the thoughts in Shallan's head the whole time, right? So I don't know how much. Like that would probably need to be changed. Like that's always difficult to do plot lines like that. Whereas Kaladin's, it's like, I mean, he's doing stuff, right? Like you can kind of like just sort of show Kaladin doing his thing, right? And sort of get what's going on, maybe, and like have like maybe more dialogue with Kaladin and Syl if you want, and need to get more insight into what he's going through.
Yeah, and I think Yasna can be Yasna didn't discover that the singers are the Voidbringers in Kharbranth. She proved it to herself, but she can still know that and go, I need to go back to the Shattered Plains now, because I've got because I think that this is serious and I'm not quite ready to tell everybody, and still have Shallan walk through that reveal and have her figure it out there instead of in Kharbranth. But
I was thinking that if you wanted to go that route, you can move some of the Kharbranth plotline either to the Shattered Plains or close to the Shattered Plains.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
And you can also compact Shallan's story. Like you don't need to in a visual adaptation. You don't need to spend as much time on her like studying under Yasna. You need like maybe 2, maybe 3 episodes to establish that she looks up to her, that Yasna's really good, really smart, also hot, and many other things.
Argent digresses.
Look, you don't care about Yasna's casting. It's just like she's got to look amazing. I mean, to be fair, she is described as very beautiful. So, like, yeah, that's
canon, Eric. It's canon. I just want canonical faithfulness.
In this specific instance,
this alone.
For Shallan's plot, though, I think it would make like cinematically, it would make for a great establishing shot of her arriving at Kharbranth, and like, because it's a pretty impressive city, and
it's just so
that would be.
It's tricky to move Shallan to the Shattered Plains because like that journey of being shipwrecked really led to a lot of character growth with her. So like you can make changes in the first season, but it's like, okay, how's her arc going to progress? And like that is always the problem with like making big changes on such a big thing. And I think that's actually the thing I would worry about the most with Stormlight is because it's so big, that we don't necessarily know all the things Brandon, I mean, we don't know the things he's foreshadowing for the back 5 and like how that's going to work, right? How would you do flashbacks? Like, if anything, the flashbacks will be more important in the back 5 with Herald things, right? Like, that's how we will see Herald things. So
you would definitely.
I think flashbacks are the easiest thing to do in visual adaptation. Like,
sure.
we are so well conditioned to accept flashbacks.
I guess that is true.
Like
there would just be fewer. They'd have to like shorten them and make them more impactful.
Yeah.
But I think honestly, even more so than Shallan and Yasna's separation and Shallan having to become independent, like you can do that in another way potentially. I think that you'd have to figure out a way to introduce Taravangian, because that is
that's pretty important.
The most important
that's
thing.
A little important. Yeah, we kind of do need to do that, do we? Yeah. I feel like that
do for the plot.
That was one of the best moments of the whole book, was the revelation that, oh yeah, he's so nice.
Yeah,
and then you're like,
you think about that and just how like, oh, I mean, how important is Kharbranth? It's like, I mean, we meet Taravangian. It's like, okay, yeah, that's pretty important. that's a little important for what's happened here, especially with like connecting it with Zeth. So, but really, my concern is if a Stormlight adaptation starts before the books end, which is gonna take a really long time, we're gonna get further than the books, and we're gonna have a lot of similar things with Game of Thrones, and we might not emphasize the right foreshadowing if we're changing things. And it's just, I'm okay with a Mistborn adaptation, but I'm very concerned about a Stormlight adaptation for that reason.
Well, I think Brandon is a different sort of writer than George, so there would be some like, I know that he has more of a plan. Maybe not as much of a plan.
That helps.
As we might assume that he has, but I know that he's got more of a structure in mind. And I mean, I do have confidence in his ability to continue to put out a book.
That is also true, yes.
Especially if they were interested in doing some sort of like I've heard people talk about The Expanse. Like, I don't think that's actually happening or announced yet, but that you could have a break in the show and do a couple seasons, have a break, and then it's harder though, because if the cast really blows up like they did with Game of Thrones, then you're like, oh, I have to get back all these famous actors now for a second series or Arrested Development. Rep.
This specifically is something Brandon has talked about, like the mismatch of pacing between books and show adaptations or movie adaptations, right? And I think he said that he would be okay with like licensing just to the first half of Stormlight if we are at a point where like he's looking into that kind of stuff, so that, you know, season 5 or book 5 or whatever ends, and you're like, okay, let's have another conversation, see where I am in my career, where I am with my books, and see if we can do the next 5 right now, or if we need to wait 5 years or whatever. Or if I can just give you like outlines and trust that you will do a good job, or maybe we would just go to a different contractor in 10 years.
I would be unhappy to see the show outrun the books, and I don't know that would necessarily happen, because it does take a long time to make a show. Depending on when it would start, Brandon might be far enough ahead that he's okay. But I would not be happy to see a Game of Thrones style thing. I do think it would need to be a show. I don't think we could do a Stormlight movie. I don't think that makes any sense to me.
God, there's just so much happening in Way of Kings. That's like you kind of need the high budget fantasy TV show, right? Like
you could do a Kaladin movie, but that wouldn't be Stormlight. That would just be a Kaladin movie. Like
it's the only part that matters, David. Yeah. No, just
hey. He's like, who is this Dalinar guy? He shows up a little bit.
Not important at all.
Do a Kaladin movie, but keep all the interludes. Just randomly.
That would not be
just like, who are these random people? Why are we just
15 of them?
Yeah, all 15. Look, I'm going to be unhappy if we don't get every single interlude character.
Oh, yeah. You're not expected to see the interludes.
I mean, realistically, Stormlight is playing with so many things about the format of a book, with like interludes and the epigraphs and things, that it's like any adaptation is going to be pretty different. And like we can hope that it feels like Roshar, and like I think that's what we would want. But like there's going to be a lot of changes, guys. So like there has to be like there's gonna be a ton of condensing. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I think as a show, though, it could also play pretty well with the format as well, like how the Wheel of Time show did those lore animated videos alongside these episodes, and those could be, assume it's a live action show, even if it's animated, those could be the interludes for Stormlight, for instance, and things like that. So you could make a lot of the things work that Brandon did in the books, but of course things are going to be lost in translation.
Just like mysteries with epigraphs. It's like, you can't do that. That's just not a thing you can do, right?
Mm-hmm. You need to pick like a few death rattles that you made prominent.
Yeah. That,
it would be so cool. Like we've never seen this in television, to my knowledge, where you are setting up like these mysteries. So let's say each episode begins with an epigraph, right? With a death rattle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And these are things that are not going to pay off until like season 5.
You just have every episode title be a death rattle.
Yeah, and the diagram one that's just a long number.
Oh my god!
And they'll be like googling like, what the hell is this title? And then it's like, oh yeah, and you come to 17shard.com where you see the thing decoded.
Get them.
Nice.
That would be cool. I don't know. I feel like if a show was made for me, it would have that, but I don't know if a show was made for the world, it would have that. Like,
well, but so it's a risk versus reward, right? If you're doing is you're sacrificing like 3 seconds from your intro to display some text on screen, I don't think that's going to turn people away, but it might draw some people in, and it's easy enough.
Yeah.
Because it's like the biggest ARG. Well, it's not ARG, but you know.
I just think that people I feel like executives occasionally like to play it safe, and it seems like Brandon is waiting out for a deal that he wants it to be, which is great. I'm curious how / if that will happen. But yeah, I mean, it'll be cool. I think that nobody should expect to see the plot of Edge Dancer in a movie ever. You know, you kind of have to just assume that like is Dawn Shard gonna be relevant? Will there be like a subplot where we're like, oh, like they're doing some Dawn Shard stuff, but we're not really gonna get into it, you know?
The scope of the Cosmere and just Stormlight itself is just so wide that I'm like, good luck, producers. Have fun. Good luck with that.
I mean, Lord of the Rings is like the 3 volumes are the same size as like Stormlight.
Yeah. That's not good.
Way of Kings.
Of the Way of Kings. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you can do like a trilogy of movies for each. Stormlight
with each book.
How feasible is that?
Who doesn't love? Yeah, I'm trying to think. Does the MCU have 30 movies yet?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
But still,
so you need a decade of unheard of franchise success.
I think we could easily do a podcast on adaptations and like talking about adaptations and like what we want to see in adaptations and what we don't, and like how much things will change and stuff, and talking about a lot of these issues. But I would just say I would certainly hope that we can deal with it better than the Wheel of Time fandom, because oh my god, it's just things will be changing, guys. It has to change. We can disagree on changes, but if people are like, I don't want any changes, I'm like, I don't know what I can do with you. Like, I'm sorry.
All we can do is try to not police, but like gently nudge people in a kinder direction within our sphere of influence. Like, Reddit is going to be a shit show.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Oh, that was a fun question.
That was a good one.
We could easily do a podcast. I'll schedule it in for 2025 or so. So we'll
okay.
Maybe we have it at
Project 7, Eric.
Oh no, we can't do it in 4. No, we can't do it in 4 because Stormlight is there.
Well, I mean, look, there's time. David, I do not have any plans for 2024 currently.
You didn't. Well, what about Secret Project 7 though? Because that's going to come out.
Yeah.
We're going to be distracted by that.
All right, Larry.
I need to pay someone to draw Brandon as like a shady street dealer with a long trench coat, and he's just like holding his cult open,
Secret
and it's
projects.
just like secret projects.
Yeah. Lyriel asks, except for the books, Brandon has already promised. What kind of /whose/what planet's story would you want to get?
Oh.
So I don't think we can choose, like, say, Nightblood, the book. I really want to see that. But it's like, that's already promised. So
Unfortunately, I don't think we can pick Silverlight either.
I have one that I want. And maybe this will happen later in the Cosmere. I want an alien invasion story in, like, sci-fi era of Cosmere where the aliens are people we've already seen from another thing. Like, that is a story. Like, imagine, like, Scadrial being invaded by, like, Radiance or something. Like, maybe not that in particular, but, like, how cool would that be? That'd be so awesome.
That'd be so awesome. That's a good. Like, Six of the Dusk 2 has a little bit of that. But it's not quite an alien. Like, it's kind of, that's more like alien colonization than alien invasion.
But like an alien disaster movie where it's like, oh, I totally know who the aliens are and things. It's like,
like War of the Worlds, but Scadrial.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
How cool would that be? Brandon, get on that, or I'll write it eventually.
I think what I want is, so we have been promised asterisk a sequel to White Sand, which is tentatively called The Arcanist, which, as far as I know, is like Chris has gone or is going back to Dark Side and is doing things there. What I want is not necessarily a sequel to that, but a sequel to Chris, where she is taking kind of her first steps into becoming the Chris that we know. Well, I guess she's taken the first steps with, like, studying the Sandmasters and the White Sand and things like that. But like Chris becoming properly Cosmere aware. Like, that's the thing that I want.
It's a cool idea. I'm trying to think.
I'm so burned out from White Sand that I'm like, I don't even know. Like,
yeah, it's not like the only, like, the not the prologue, but like Act 1 is gonna take place in Taldane. And then Act 1 is going to end with Chris going, oh, what is this lake of sand that glows magic and says perpendicularity?
Oh,
and she's going to...
Oh, that's fun.
I'm just
going to leave in.
That sounds like
go
fun.
wrong?
Just cannonball.
I think I'd like to see the Iriali origin story.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Something I'd be really interested in.
That would be good. I like that.
That is a good one.
Did Archon just only freeze for me, or...
Okay, he did freeze, but that was a very dramatic moment.
Yeah, I thought he was very impressed with your idea.
Very sexy.
That's true.
Very sexy.
I know. I'm trying to think if there's something that I want that Brandon hasn't pitched, because there's so many things that I'm like, well, that's a good idea. Although when Argent said The Arcanist, I was like, the sequel to which White Sand, which graphic novel, or the book, or the what format is?
Or
this?
maybe the prose rewrite that might.
The prose, yeah. Oh, if there's a prose rewrite, I'm gonna flip. But
maybe that one will at least come out on time, though.
I mean, what is on time when White Sand is concerned?
I don't have a specific, maybe not a super specific idea, but I think that as I've been reading more Brandon stuff lately and listening to him talk, to me it seemed like he's been more interested in the modern and like sci-fi ages of the Cosmere.
Definitely.
Like, I think that's where most of his plans are, and that's totally fine. He's going to write what interests him. I would like to see some cool early Cosmere stories. Like, I think if you could do like an ancient Cell story, it doesn't even have to be in a Relin or something like that, or some cool, like...
Are you thinking pre-shattering or post-shattering?
Either or, like maybe post-shattering and it's still just like way back, or like the original Elantrians, or maybe some cool like a previous Hero of Ages type thing on classical Scadrial, like not doing Alendi because we know he doesn't want to do that, but something else, you know.
I would love to see, like, this is another story. Here's another story idea in my bank of things that could fit in the Cosmere, but maybe I'll write eventually myself. But just like seeing what the world would be like on Scadrial, like a generation or two after literal creation. Like, wouldn't that be cool? Like, that could be very interesting. Like, the shards just created humanity. Like, what does that look like? Like, that.
I don't have grandparents. Like, yeah.
yeah. Like, I literally do not have grandparents, right? Like, that would be a cool idea, as well. Yeah, I would like some early things.
For those of us watching, or those of you watching, I guess I'm also watching. So those of us watching who might not remember or have missed this detail, the history of Scadrial is really, really weird on multiple levels. And one of them is, yes, that the planet was created from scratch and the people were created from scratch, which is one level of weird. But the other one is every 1,000-ish years, there comes somebody who takes on the power of the well.
It's happened multiple times.
Multiple times. Like, maybe not like a dozen, because history of the Cosmere or whatever, but several times. And so when we usually think of Scadrial, we think like, or we default to beginning of time, Alendi, stuff, Vin, stuff, Harmony, blah. But like, there have been multiple ascensions in the history of that planet.
Yeah, and like, what does that exactly look like? Because then, like, they took on the power for a bit, but used it totally differently than Rashek, and like
much more responsibly, it would seem.
Much more responsibly. Like,
yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
The planet into the sun.
And like, how many? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could do original Terrace Prophecy stuff. We know nothing about that, and I don't know when it will be relevant. So. Fruitful ground, but
see Lutha, the story. Lutha, the novella.
We'll never see her.
I also was always disappointed that Mistborn Birthright. It sounded like a cool time period.
Yeah, early Final Empire. Yeah, if you don't remember, sorry, I'm just remembering
the knew.
If you were around the fandom in 2012, there was going to be a Mistborn video game called Mistborn Birthright. Eventually, that URL got taken and was changed to a porn link, so we had to change it.
No way!
We had to change the citation on the Coffermine to a Wayback Machine because the actual MistbornBirthright.com got like hit with.
No,
like, the domain expired, so then obviously.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was really funny. But it was supposed to be a Felix Fiddle Fathvel.
Fendon Fiddle Fathvel. Yeah, or something like that.
Fendon Fathvel. Sorry, Felix is a Mistborn the Inquisition character, but Fathvel, we actually came up with that name in that RP, and we were just so good at naming Scadrial things that they coincidentally used that name. But it was like early Final Empire times, and I think that'd be really cool. Like
second century,
yeah, because like not everything would be conquered. Like the balance would be important. Like that'd be really interesting. Great period for a gamer story.
For the Final Empire, something from Palm's perspective, like as the Kandra of the Lord Ruler. That would be pretty cool as well. Like
more Palm. She's so cool.
Yeah.
She's so cool.
Yeah. Let's go to the next one. Lotus asks us to share your Radiant orders. She knows we know some of y'all's, but not everyone's. What Radiant order are you all?
I don't want to keep people guessing.
Does she actually say...
Are you a Windrunner, David?
I'm a Windrunner, but I had Edge Dancer as a very close second. I think that
makes sense.
Accurate.
That makes sense, right? Those are pretty related.
Yeah.
I am dead even as of the first time I took the quiz, split between Elscholar and a Skybreaker.
Elscholar, Skybreaker.
Wow.
I had Truthwatcher, Elscholar. Like we did a video on this. I don't remember what my exact ones were, but like Elscholar, Truthwatcher, and Skybreaker were really close for me. And so I have elected that I am an Elscholar. I have cufflinks for my wedding that are the Elscholar ones from Badali Jewelry. Yeah.
For a moment, my brain did not process cufflinks correctly, and I was
okay.
We don't need hear that there.
No. Like the no.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I caught up.
I got as caught as well, and I think Truth Watcher was a close second for me.
Surrounded by elf colors. I'm not exactly in my element here. Damn.
and or Skybreakers. Like I think
Why?
When you're
Why
so
fly
high,
somewhere when we can teleport?
That's a fair point.
Isn't that strictly better than flying? Teleporting?
I will say though, you have to learn how to use the teleportation, and Yasna, the smartest person we know, has so far failed. So
I mean,
good luck
maybe
with that.
we'll get some soul casting scenes in Stormlight 5. We still don't really know how that works. All things considered.
We're learning. Brandon introduced it earlier and then decided he didn't want to tell us anything more about it.
That's the most baffling thing. It's like there's wind running things, and then there's soul casting. It's like, yeah, you're not getting any of the soul casting.
I do wonder if Yasna vanishing in Words of Radiance was another one of those Brandon breakpoints where he might have kept her around longer and done more soul casting.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, when he was like, "Oh, is it Kelsier or is it Tensoon that's going to come back?" That's going to be Kelsier. You know, he could have.
He's shotcast. Tensoon is going to be what? It's gonna.
Yeah, and he's talked about how he went back and forth on whether or not he wanted to take Shallan away from Yasna, and then he decided it felt like it was necessary at that point. And I could see if she'd stick around. She basically promises in the end of Way of Kings to teach her about soul casting, and then she freaking vanishes.
One of those ending of a book where I'm gonna teach you.
There is one in every book.
Every single book's like, we're gonna hunt down Jannat. It's like, no, we didn't do that.
She said no to our membership invite. Sorry. Yeah.
Did not RSVP.
She did not RSVP.
BS.
But I think when you're very high on, if you have a lot of these radiants really close to each other, it's just a matter of which spren you get, right? So like, and like which you're feeling, right? So I think Truth Watcher was my number one, but I'm electing Else Color.
That's the right.
Clan Mysterio. I have seen non-zero number of stone wards in the. I've seen like 2.
Bondsmith
I think
rare.
Fel Candy's husband is one of them.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know you're out there. There's dozens of you.
Dozens.
Yeah.
You're our frontline soldiers. We need you.
Yeah.
Dozens.
Yeah, it always reminds me of, I feel like, the Wheel of Time Aja's thing too, where there is a specific, like, you know, they do have the Slytherin one, of course, but that's always a problem. There's like clearly a bad one,
and everyone's a brown.
Because, I mean, even the Radiants sort of have that with the Dustbringers, right?
That's true. There's always a Slytherin,
but they're not like pure evil.
Let's talk about profiling.
Okay,
where are we going with this, Evgeny? Okay.
Welcome to the final Shardcast stream before we really get into it.
The final Shardcast. This is the last video. 17K subscribers.
It's the final Shardcast. Okay, so
no.
What are we talking about? Oh, the thing. So
profiling.
Turns out when you put in a thing, a system. So let's say you are a novelist, right? Or some kind of media or content producer, and you're putting a thing in your media where people are being sorted based on their attributes, right? So you have the Knights Radiant, you have the Harry Potter Hogwarts houses, you have the whatever the Divergent series is called. They have a thing going on there.
Yes.
Red Rising,
cetera,
that's a big one. Yeah.
So whenever and the Wheel of Time Aes Daiages. So whenever you do that, it turns out if you are writing a book that's kind of going to appeal to nerds, if one of your categories that you're sorting people into is the nerds, your readers will largely fall into that category.
To be fair, though, aren't the nerds the Ravenclaws, though? But a lot of people are Gryffindors.
Yeah, I feel like Ravenclaw is like the second. It is like the second one, though.
Oh, okay.
Like,
people,
I think Gryffindors have
things that put
thing
them into Gryffindor.
Yeah,
like they actively want to be in Gryffindor, so
they want to be protagonists. Is the truth?
Yeah. Gryffindor is the protagonist house.
And I feel like Harry Potter is the one where I feel like it is the least balanced, where like you've really got like people have made it their own, but
you're protagonist and pure evil.
Yeah.
Protagonists, pure evil, nerds, and like
the rest.
I didn't have a fourth idea.
You know, to be fair though, when I take
Nice
Harry Potter
people.
quizzes, I am a Slytherin. But you know,
I
without
am a
like the
Slytherin as well, yeah.
racism stuff. But like
Freaking
the
Gryffindor.
ambition and stuff, yeah.
I'm glad that it wasn't the racism stuff that sort of you into Slytherin.
It was,
That's a relief.
You know,
lovable.
really, it's all the Sorting Hat's fault. Really, you know, like
What are these
that is
arbitrary divides? It does seem like a bad idea.
it seems like a bad idea. It's like you guys are all gonna get radicalized here. I'll put this 10-year-old there. It's like, oh, okay. We'll trust this magically imbued hat to make the good moral decisions that will determine all these people. It's not like we did the Sorting Hat never hear about Voldemort and how a lot of those were Slytherins. It's like, no, everything's fine. Let's just continue that.
Like, I'm just reinforcing something here, I guess. That's a great fanfic right there. It's the Sorting Hat just like coming to terms that he's part of the problem.
Did you know that's really quality. This has nothing to do with the Cosmere, but it's really funny.
Every time the subject of the Sorting Hat in the Hogwarts houses comes up, I'm reminded of an episode of Intentionally Blank, where they talked about this.
Yeah.
And I think Brandon was like, hey Dan, you know how someone is in Slytherin, and it's like, no, how is it? They will tell you. And that is so true.
There are a lot of they will tell you variations of that joke, and they're all funny.
So Genzin in the chat, does anyone even wash the Sorting Hat? That's a good question. It is not
that
pandemic safe.
No,
just like
maybe it's like magical.
Is just they're 10, they're 11.
Oh yeah.
The amount of lice that is transmitted by the Sorting Hat is a lot.
It'd be like magic lice, Eric, though, because they could vanish regular lice, but there'd be like a magic lice that they were helpless with, and they'd be like, well,
yeah, obviously, yeah.
But
you
they
can't get rid
have
of the
flea
flicker bugs.
powder.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't do that.
Okay, let's go on to the next question. Psycho asks, random Spitfire AMA for any and all panelists. How tall are you? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite book not written by someone named Brandon? So I guess you can't select a Brandon Mull book. Sorry.
Okay. That's funny.
Okay, hold on. I need to look at that with my eyeballs.
Okay. I'm trying to think about books. But I don't have favorite books.
How tall am I?
Yeah.
I am 5'4", maybe 5'5",
6'0",
which is
for
like
me.
165 ish. If you are of the centimeter variety.
Hey, aren't you like super tall?
Oh,
Yeah, Paleo is like 9'7".
Yeah.
Paleo is as tall as Rock. Everybody.
Casting choice, Rock. What could go wrong?
Oh, he'd be a Southern
63
Adrian.
Oh, that's
190 centimeters for the correctly measuring people.
that
That's a lot
doesn't
of
sound like
centimeters, man.
freedom.
You don't
No.
need that many centimeters.
Oh, that's a lot of centimeters. Give some to Argent. You can share your centimeters. You've got a lot.
And I'm not even the tallest in my family, so my brother is, 6'5"?
I will accept
or
some from them as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
My favorite food is spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm thinking of making some sometime in the next week, even though we've made stuffed pasta shells, which is basically the same thing. But you know
They're
what?
good,
I
though.
really like spaghetti. I would eat it. I make a giant thing of spaghetti and I will eat it for like lunch, dinner. I could even eat it for breakfast. I'm totally okay with that.
Okay. I am 6'2", so just a little shorter than Paleo, it would appear. I enjoy Thai food and also Italian food is pretty good. Big fan. Yeah. Favorite book is really tricky because I just feel like.
See,
what did
the one that
I'm gonna
I
let
would
you think about that.
I know what I would say, but like I haven't updated this since like 2013. But let's go.
What, the arithmetist?
No.
Boo the arithmetist.
I will say Foundation's Edge, the 4th Foundation book by
Ooh.
Isaac Asimov. It does my favorite thing, which is having dueling viewpoints of like from two opposing sides. It is so good. You just have to know with Asimov, he's not really into the whole character development thing. Like, Isaac Asimov's an idea guy, not a character writer at all. But like seeing those different philosophies of those different sides, like fight it out. Oh my god, so cool. Read the Foundation stories. There's lots of fun things where they're like, ooh, cars are atomic powered because he wrote it in the 50s. It's really funny. And it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, of course you'd think that. But I don't know. Foundation's Edge is a good book, but I need to read more, so that's not a very good answer. The problem is Brandon keeps writing things, and there's a lot to read.
Don't worry, Eric. In the next 4 days, you have time to read.
Yeah, that is sadly true, isn't it?
My favorite book that I don't really have favorite books, but the one I'm like the most that I read recently was probably A Desolation Called Peace, which is
a phenomenal book.
By Akari Martin. Yeah.
Title.
Like it's a sequel to A Memory Called Empire, which I think Alex talked about before on stream.
Yeah. The names in that book are great.
It's
the second one.
There's only like those names are like so much better than The Way of Kings. I think The Way of Kings is a boring title. Where it's like A Desolation Called Peace is like, whoa, that's a title right there. That's a good.
It's very evocative. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking of the Mirror Empire series.
Oh, I never read those. Yeah. No, and all the characters in Desolation Called Peace have like they're all like a noun and a number, and so there are really funny ones, there are really cool ones, and they all have like nicknames based, like a lot of them have nicknames that are kind of like a play on whatever the noun was.
Oh, interesting.
And like the entire language is very like poetic, and so it's yeah,
that's a really good book. I think that if I had to pick, I'd usually be like, oh, here are 2 or 3 of my favorite books. Like, that's really what's kind of tricky. I think
that's okay.
I really like Senelin Ascends by Josiah Bancroft, Books of Babel. I think he does a really good job with prose in a way that is very different from Brandon. And that I read it and I like kind of just enjoy reading like things, and there'll be like moments where I'm like, oh, I want to circle back to this line. Like that's
always cool.
Mm-hmm. And the protagonist is a person who kind of is a bit of a rigid thinker at the start and sort of like chills out throughout the book. So I relate to that a lot. And I think that another good one is The Library at Mount Char, which is a freaking weird book, but it is, and like I don't even know if I would not call it a fantasy story in the traditional sense, but I forget the name of the author, but check that out if you want a weird story. It's another one that's really popular on the fantasy subreddit that I see shared a lot.
Cool.
I didn't talk about my favorite food.
Favorite food.
Sharp, Marvin. I never get to talk on this podcast. You guys always talk over me.
Well, go ahead.
Let me show you all my whiskey and everything.
I'm gonna get another beer.
I still distinctly remember doing those Knights Radiant episodes. You remember, and where you were
the list.
We were recording for so long, and you're like, well, what if we make a list of all the possible spren or something like that, and going through each one, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to die. Like, do we need this? Do we really need this in the episode?
Lists are very good, and they provide structure.
Like it was like, did we record all 3 of those one after another? No, I don't think we did. I think we must have recorded.
Was it 3?
We did 3 episodes. We got through like 3 orders in each one.
I think it was like two together and then 1.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I
don't know if I was on that one though.
I don't remember.
I feel like I wasn't.
I was actually going to give the same food as Eric did. Spaghetti with meat sauce.
Look, when you come, Evgeny, I will make a sweet spaghetti. It's not actually going to be tasting sweet. Sorry, let me explain that again. Sweet as in very good.
Sweet spaghetti.
Oh god, I dumped sugar on the meat instead of salt. It's like, oh god, that sounds horrible. Sounds so bad.
Love it.
But
love it already.
I'll make you spaghetti, Evgeny. Yeah, I have a good
Yeah, no,
recipe for it.
sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Potluck and Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
think
mean,
my favorite.
I mean,
the way that I like them is
Uh.
going to be different from the way you like them because I have like feta cheese and carrots in
that's
them.
True. Oh,
Um,
carrots! Get out of here, carrots!
Don't judge.
Okay,
That's
okay.
that's fascinating.
They're for
That's part
flavor.
of it.
Oh, it's not a lot of like they're anyway.
Carrots, famously flavorful.
Look, the fact that you people in the States have garbage food that tastes like ass
Yeah.
is not my
Hey,
Look,
just because
look.
Americans have no culture doesn't mean it's our fault.
Look, our culture is butter and salt. What more do you want? Okay.
Go to the Midwest and have them make you a salad that's mostly dressing, and you're
Look,
like, what?
I want a country where like next to butter and salt, I also have like rice. Can we have all three of them?
Yeah, rice is a great staple.
Rice is great.
Not rice.
Rice is
Rice.
nice. That's what they say.
Rice? Oh, rice and rice go well together, though. So
Wait, what?
Like
I-
human rights.
I didn't say my favorite food yet, and my favorite dish is
okay,
it doesn't
you may.
actually have an English name. So
Okay,
is it
okay.
Dutch baby?
It's no, it's not. It's a dish called Dampfnudeln, which it's actually it's steam noodle, literally translated, but it's
So pasta.
no, it's not pasta, not at all. It's sweet for one,
Well-
and you serve it with.
We're
vanilla
having
sauce,
sweet
and
pasta
it's like-
though. Yeah.
It's made from a dough with yeast as well, so it's really weird.
Okay.
Like to this explain, but it tastes really good, especially my father's recipe. But yeah,
You'll have to spell that because I have no way to Google
yeah,
that.
I write it in YouTube.
Put it in chat.
Okay.
Put it in chat.
Cool. So yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, my old family recipe is either A, a Dutch baby, or B, like nothing.
What about Shudel? I'm scrolling through my Goodreads to see like favorite books that I might that haven't been written by a Brandon. And I rate a lot of books as 5 stars, and I'm looking at a lot of these, and I'm like, these are not 5-star books.
Yeah,
Okay,
you gotta
but
be
here-
harsher, man.
No, I'm gonna come out against that and say 5-star reviews are the only thing that people care about. It's just like Uber, and so Goodreads should actually be a thumbs up, thumbs down thing. And if you rate a bunch of books 3 stars, you're actually screwing those authors because that will really hurt their ability to be seen. So if you think it's pretty good, give it 5 stars.
That's true, but Jess has a very reasonable review system, so I have to be very. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so
The
do
system
I.
it shouldn't be that way, but it is that way.
Right,
So
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like, I also think, like, if you're numbering, like, a movie, like, giving a rating from 1 through 10, that 5 should be average, right? And
Oh, it
everything
definitely
above
should
5
be.
should be above average,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the word
my
great inflation
3 out of
everywhere.
5 is
Yeah.
this is fine. Like I don't mind reading this. I enjoyed
Mhm.
reading this. It didn't.
Mhm.
It wasn't my like. So 5 for me. Objectively speaking, looking at this list, obviously I'm not very objective in my ratings, but 5 is this is life-changing, mind-blowing. I was sitting there in my chair and just like thinking at the end of the book, and I couldn't process my life otherwise. And then 4 is that was really good. I enjoyed that a lot. It's not going to change my life, but I definitely liked this book a lot. And then 3 is it's fine. I don't mind it. It was good. And
Yeah,
then
1 and 2
2
are bad.
is one is I do not recommend this book,
To
and 2
anyone.
is I didn't
Below
like it, and it
average.
was also not for me.
Yeah. 3 is usually my bar for like I would definitely recommend it to somebody.
Mhm.
Maybe with like a caveat or something. But
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
2.
Two's like I don't regret reading it, but
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, I'll never pick this up again. I don't think I'll
Yeah.
think about it again.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna pick The Name of the Wind as my
Oh.
I-
non-Brandon
Oh.
fave.
I have not read Name of the Wind and Many a Moon because I will not read it until a book comes out.
Yeah, I didn't even finish book 2. I'll wait if book 3 comes out. Yep, that's
Hey,
gonna be
but
me.
Donate to World Builders, and you too can not read the newest chapter of book 3.
I
Oh.
I am very intentionally divorcing the book from the author.
I
in this
feel like you
case.
have to at this stage.
Yeah.
Ah.
But the other one
To enjoy
is
it,
I'm gonna go with the newest Cradle. Like if you guys
It's
Cradle,
a Bloodline. It's Reaper. Shoot,
it's Reaper. Yeah.
Isn't there like a new one coming out like in days?
Yeah, Dread God's coming out soon.
Oh, okay.
It's right on top of the Lost Metal Gamma.
Yeah. Do you still recommend it if you've had a massive plot element spoiled?
That's true. You did have a massive Cradle plot element spoiled.
Yeah.
I think it is still good.
Okay. I will read it eventually. I'm 10 books in it, or like 9 books in at this point. I'm not going to quit. It's just like Dresden.
You're in for it.
I'm committed now.
I am. It's not like I'm not going to continue reading Dresden.
I could stand for him to stop checking out really, really young women. I think that I'm getting really tired of reading about that. Even though we've built in an in-world justification for why actually he has no choice. But yeah.
I mean after Battleground, I'm probably gonna keep reading. But I'm far less excited about the series than
the new novella
or Peace Talks.
The new novella comes out like any minute now. It's like within the next 4 days.
Interesting.
Yeah, an Audible exclusive. They're all doing it now.
God.
We're all stuck in Amazon's ecosystem. Everybody.
Hey, so
look,
I'm listening to Death and Faxes.
Yeah, how's that? This is the only Death and Faxes content you're going to see on the channel. So let's talk.
What do you and the other 5 listeners think?
Like literally, we didn't even need to make a spoiler policy because only one person was talking about it on Discord.
So I am like 4 hours in out of 6 or something like that.
Okay. Sounds like that sigh sounds like a resounding endorsement.
That's how you start the review.
My thoughts are complicated on the subject, and I'll probably talk a little bit more about it, like when I'm actually done with the book. I kind of like. I was gonna say the premise, but I don't like the entire premise. I don't.
This is
I
going
don't love.
great.
I so far, having not finished the whole thing, I liked the original better.
The very first one, or the original 3, like the branded ones.
The original.
The audio original.
I'm sorry, Brandon and Mary picked the most confusing. It's like It. When people are like, "Oh yeah, did you go see It?" What did I go see? It. What? It what?
Who's on first?
Yeah, it is like it's a fucking comedy routine. Sorry for the swearing.
I mean, to be fair, the audio original, the original.
Yeah.
David, have you seen
the original audio original called the original? And a big part of it is, to be honest, I don't love the narrator.
Yeah, that is always an issue.
I think he does a good job with some characters, and just not a good job with others. And the thing that I cannot get over and will not get over is the unnecessarily over-dramatic like chapter announcements.
Chapter 2!
Chapter 12!
Oh my god. That sounds bad.
Like that, you don't need to do that. But he does give all of the aspects different, like accents and voices.
Okay.
They're not entirely consistent. Sometimes Steven sounds like JC, and sometimes JC sounds like Steven.
Do you know if
most of them are fine?
If it's the same narrator as the previous 3? Okay.
I don't.
Because I listened to 1 and 2 on audio kind of oddly. I honestly, the mainframe project I think is mildly interesting. I'm glad Brandon's like trying something different. I do feel bad for the fact that the first time they've brought in somebody to kind of do a fully independent story from Brandon, they set him up on what is the least popular story series that I can, unless he was doing an original sequel, like the least popular series, to do in like a midquel to it, like in the middle. Well, we've already gotten an end that at least I didn't like. I thought it was a moderately controversial ending to the series, and I'm just like, man, set a guy up to fail. Why don't you? Like, I don't know. That just seems like not the best. Like, give him something more interesting to do, or I don't know. I get they're trying to do something with Legion, but it just never worked for me, I guess.
And for me, it's a weird combination of, okay, there are small things that I don't like, such as the narrator, such as some of the voices, things like that. There are small things about the plot that I don't like. And then there are, just like, I am constant, because the book deals with, like, I think the main antagonist is meant to be a hacker. Although I don't know if that's the main antagonist.
That always goes well.
I am constantly...
in the mainframe.
I'm constantly running into, like, things that I recognize as extremely unlikely, if not impossible, in the context of computers.
I was going to ask about that. That's a really good point. Yeah, it's like your subject area.
Yeah,
and so each one of these individually doesn't like break the story or bother me that much, but it's like every chapter there's like one or two things, and they're small enough that individually I can ignore them, but collectively I'm like, I should have maybe I should have baited this one.
That's tricky. Well, that just means that next time Mainframe needs to retain you as the computer science expert to give feedback on the draft.
I didn't think a book called Death and Faxes was gonna need like a computer scientist to look at it.
Hey, are faxes not an example of computer science? Because I think they're sending things through wires, so that feels like computer science.
They are.
And I mean, it's in the tubes, right?
Yeah, the pneumatic tubes that the internet goes through.
And it's like they copy like multiple terabytes of hard drive onto a USB in like a few minutes.
Hey, but this is... are you sure it's not like the year 2030 where they've really got storage down and also the climate's collapsing? Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
And also by the way, okay, so this is an extremely minor spoiler for Death and Faxes. So if you don't want to get extremely minorly spoiled about Death and Faxes, mute the sound or whatever while my hand is still up.
Okay. You'll do the hand system? Okay, that works. Yeah. All right, cool.
So there's a point where, this is extremely specific to me, there's a point in the story where Steven's like credit cards and bank accounts, like the hacker gets into them.
Oh no.
And the hacker is like maxing out his credit cards and things like that. And so Steven's like, well, I'm just gonna lock all my accounts and I'll just use backup cash that I have. I've got 20,000 in a safe. Nice. And
they hacked the safe.
Which is which was super specific to me because I work for a loan company, a lender company.
I don't know.
And very recently, in the past month, I had to do a training on several government federal regulations when it comes to credit cards and loans and things like that. And one of them is like, well, if you notice something like that happening, and Steven noticed it on day one, you can tell the bank, and you were liable for no more than like $50.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can set things up. So like, Steven, just don't freeze your everything. Just tell the bank that wasn't you. Change your password. Put two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
Just like
everyone else.
Don't lock yourself out of your money. So that frustrated me for like 3 chapters. Anyway, spoilers over.
I mean, isn't that like yeah. Why don't we go to the next question? Because look, you got your Legion Death and Faxes content that you were waiting for. Look, I bet if we did an episode on that would get like some of the worst viewership.
That'd be bad.
The reviews.
Yeah, weren't people hoping for a 2/3 of the way through Legion review from us? Because that's really
that's what they were waiting for. Like they we just constantly get comments. It was like, yeah, where's the Death and Faxes content? Of course, now people are going to comment that's like, where's the Death and Faxes content?
And we'll have someone make a short out of just that Argent clip. We'll have that guy make
yeah, sure. Easy. Nice.
Done.
Easy.
Done.
Viengua asks, what 2 surges would you put together to make a new Radiant Order, and what would it be called?
Oh. Okay, well, we need 2 proper nouns, everybody. Let's go. No.
I don't know if I can get a name, but I'm just trying to think of like two surges that would like interact interestingly together, and I'm going to just probably take teleportation, because I mean that would be a really great power to have. Generally, we don't really know what it looks like in practice, but I think I'll take transportation. But what else would I choose? You know, that's the tricky part.
I always thought that gravitation abrasion would be good because you could really get yourself going. Like you could just basically get rid of airspeed, and you could just like really move.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think I want to do something with transformation. I think transformation is really, really
transportation.
Exciting.
It's a pretty good combo.
It is a pretty good combo.
I feel like all the search combinations already are like
pretty good.
There's a reason that Brandon has put him like that, because
cohesion in anything, because we don't know what it does. So that'd be.
I want to make things stiff. And
well, there's a pill for that.
God,
tension and abrasion, easy. No, don't do that.
Like growth.
Yeah, I'm confused. Which one? I meant tension anyway. Jeez,
tension.
I still don't even know tension and like. How long ago did Oathbringer come out? Still confused.
Look, I think the fact that we did podcasts on it just made us more confused rather than less confused.
Yeah. I love that Kaladin, not even fully bonded to Syl, is like using all his searches almost for gravitation, and Dalinar just has not even accidentally used tension at any point. Like,
I mean, why would you? Yeah.
Why? Well, I mean, it is pointless. So
look, that's just him prepping to be a Dalinar fused. Just use one surge.
That's book 5. Just wait until Dalinar busts out the tension abilities, and that's the key to beating Odium.
I made this cloth stiff. You can't stab it. It's so stiff.
I
do want to see it be useful. I'm curious.
Well, it's on Brandon to figure it out.
That's right.
It is. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with transformation and progression.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a good combo.
I don't know what exactly that's gonna do, but I imagine you can like
change stuff and grow stuff. Those two I think work really well together.
You could soulcast stuff into plants and then grow it. That's pretty good.
I am the best gardener. I am the garden shaper.
the cultivationers.
Yeah. I do think progression is one that regrowth is such like a useful ability that I feel like we see I wasn't even thinking about the fact that you can grow plants with progression.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh yeah, you do have growth and not just regrowth.
Yeah. Right. God, I don't know what else I'd choose with transportation though.
You could choose transportation and gravitation. You could fly and teleport. It'd be even faster, Eric. And you don't have to choose. You can do both.
I will say it, and I will say it again. Flying is an overrated superpower.
Not if but I accept that, but I do think the fact that they were given adhesion to make it slightly less miserable for the Windrunners is a big get. You don't have to worry about the wind and the bugs. The Skybreakers have a pretty crappy time.
That's why they have to break the sky, because I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. What about division? I feel like division plus something could be cool.
Which would be
but helpful. We don't really know a lot about division.
Division and tension, easy. We'll call them the
stiff burners.
Yeah, there you go. That sounds good. I just imagine it being about explosions. So, teleport, transportation division could be kind of cool.
I was trying to think of something like a really, really aggressive combination with division, something that's very damage oriented.
I mean, honestly, if you teleport and then make things explode, that's pretty good.
Yeah, right in the middle. Just bam,
you're just there. You make them explode. You teleport out before the explosion gets you. Nice.
that you're untouchable. You can pop into Shadesmore anytime you need to, and then get stuck there for months.
Bonus.
Yeah,
you have to take a vacation. Vacation's
learn
easy
some things.
Talk to some spren, get some outdated information. Never tell anybody what you learned for 4 books, and then
saving it for book 10, David.
Yeah, she's gonna. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a juicy book 10 when I'm 50.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Maybe we should go on to the next question.
It's a good idea.
Grey Hive, I love the new shard clips format. How is that video performing compared to your expectations? Are you trying to capture more casual Sander fans? I would definitely say that we have long been aware that Shardcast is a very in-depth show. It's a very particular. Yeah. So,
there's a specific audience.
Yes, it's a very specific audience. So, like, we do want to do more shorter content. Clips are something we've always kind of wanted to do, but now we have a person actually doing that. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, we'll see how often they come out. The video went very well. For a while, it was beating the most recent Shardcast, but I think the thing is with short videos, is you'll get a lot more people to click on it quickly, but then it will not have as much of a tail, right?
That's true, yeah.
Whereas, like, our long videos, like, if people are interested in the topic, they will view it. Like, people will look at, like, our Teravangian episode from after Rhythm of War came out. After you read Rhythm of War, I'm like, yeah, that totally checks out, right? And things like that. So the Shardcasts, those deep dives, I feel like always have a really good tail, and so their viewerships will go up. Whereas I feel like clips will, be very bright for a day and not really have nearly as many views. I mean, it's beaten the dice board and span reads, which is it's not surprising for the first week. Like, watching a 4-minute clip thing, it's like, oh, that sounds interesting. I'll watch it real quick. And, like, I watch it now rather than, like, oh, it's 2 hours. It's like, okay, I'll watch it later. I'll maybe put it in my watch later list and I'll get there when I get there, right? So that totally makes sense. But span reads is one of those things that we want to have more bite-sized content. Like, I mean, obviously it is still kind of long, right? But it's not like a 2.5-hour podcast or something, right? So it's still
short for our brand.
It is short, but we want to do like solo videos and things, like explainers on concepts and things, and but like just things like that are more fun and casual, to get a wider audience of Sander fans, because not everyone's gonna want to sit through a really long show, right? And that doesn't mean we can't make content for others as well. So that's where I'm at. So we'll see. Maybe these will be weekly. I don't know. We'll see. But great thing is I'm not editing them, so that works out great. The problem with clips is you have to find the clips, and that can take a really long time, actually. So, like, honestly, it's harder than you'd expect, and so that's why I don't think we've gone through those before, because you have to find the clip in our big ass episodes and then take them out.
Yeah,
so like it's just the fighting takes a while.
Yeah. But we have clips functionality on our YouTube channel now, and I think that applies to all videos. So if you are watching a Shardcast or any other video that we have, and you run into a funny moment that you think might be a fun, clip, there's a scissors button that you can click, and you can do the thing, and I have no idea what's going to happen next.
I think it literally, I don't know, I thought Punny did one, and it was like, it was kind of weird. It wasn't what I expected. It wasn't like a Twitch clip.
Yeah, how does it work? Really? Is it just like a link you can share with people, and it just plays like that, like one of the video? But
the video kept going. Like, it was just like the specific timestamp.
So okay,
well, maybe I didn't understand
had that
what was
for years, but
yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. But if you do have fun clips, put it in our Discord or in the comments or something. With specific timestamps, very useful. So if you find something very funny, then we can definitely do that. I really think it's just like finding stuff. That's what really takes the most time in those.
There's definitely like a goldmine of stuff. I've been listening to a few like old episodes from like when I was in Costa Rica and I wasn't on there, and so many things we like say with so much confidence, and I'm just like, fast forward to 2020, and or we'd be eating our words on this. But yeah, there's funny stuff out there. So if you do end up in the backlog and you find something funny, like ping us, and we'd be happy to like be like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
Let's make up. We could someday. I'm sure there will be a Shardcasters Wrong About compilation.
I liked that there was something that was in the Discord that was like we were talking about the Stormlight 4 prologue.
Oh yeah.
And
was that Travis who shared it?
Yeah, it was Travis. Yeah. And like you nailed something, and then we're like, oh, those two can't possibly be heralds. It's just really funny. It's really funny. Things like that are going to be entertaining. Like I feel like a lot of things from Cosmere beefs, where it's just like someone complaining, and it's just like, this is the clip of like Eric complaining about Zane. That's quality content right there. But we don't want them to be complaining. We want them to be fun. But yeah, the video's doing good. It took a very long time for us to figure out a thumbnail for that, though. It's like, God, the worst part about YouTube is all the thumbnail and that stuff. Like, it's so awful.
Collectively, a lot of opinions on thumbnails.
Oh my God.
And a lot of versions of thumbnails where I'm scrolling between them and I'm like, it's like, find the difference between these two pictures, and I'm like, looks the same to me. Back to what I'm up to. Yeah.
Well, like, it's
imagine
for a different show, like Shardcast, we have sort of the template and scheme, but like a new thing. Like we didn't want it to look the same as the regular Shardcast things, right?
Oh, for sure. And like I like totally respect that people that like, if you do a good job with thumbnails, it does impact the video. I just have no eye for design. And so I'm always just like, looks the same to me.
Thumbs up.
Here I go. Yeah.
Thumbs up to me. Like, looks fine.
Yeah. I would love for us to have a graphic designer on the team. Like a proper graphic designer.
Yeah, that'd be pretty helpful. If you're a graphic designer. Okay, so that is the first questions of people. So we'll go through a few other ones. I really wanted to do this Lotus one though. Lotus asks, what ferrochemical power would you want? Personally, I'd 100% do brass. Storing heat sounds awesome. And I have the easiest answer in the universe. Wakefulness. Come on. It's so good.
Yeah.
I can be awake when I want to be awake, and then be sleepy when I want to be sleepy. That is so overpowered and useful for my day-to-day life. It would be great to wake up actually feeling rested.
That's the Brandon way.
Seriously, though, like, I wake up tired all the time. I would love to just be able to store that tiredness later, you know?
I have many questions about the spiritual quadrant.
I know. I'm like, luck has always seemed fun to me. If we ever see what luck is, I kind of suspect that I would enjoy it.
We need to see a spinner in like Era 3. You know?
Oh, and I think we will. Yeah, like he seems to like be feeling. You know, even in Era 2, like we're starting to see some of the weirder. I have to actually look up Furukami. I'm forgetting all the powers. It won't be the air one. I'll tell you that. I'm not a swimmer.
Ooh, Mist Mage. Put that in the Shardcast channel, because the Ship It or Rip It does have some good clips. Like of Asher Marn Renarin and painfully agreeing to the ship. Oh, that's good. That's quality. Also, need more clickbait titles. Yeah, but see, the thing is I want to die if I do that. So I'm not like
yeah, we're not. No,
it's hard enough just to try and get people to listen to WoB episodes and just like have some reason that it's not like it's the next quarter of Words of Brandon. There's more. There's definitely more things, you know.
Yeah, that's the closest we get to clickbaity titles.
Yeah. Just because it's like it's such a nothing title. If you like, you have to put something there.
Yeah, and that's the one that makes the most sense because you're like, here's the thing everybody's talking about.
This is the big WoB that's cool and interesting. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes there's WoB episodes where it's just like, oh no, it's just a bunch of WoBs. I mean, they're kind of cool, but not world shattering.
we don't want to play that game. Like
Nope.
we are not on YouTube to be content creators or to make like any meaningful amount of money.
Yeah.
We are here because we want to educate, we want to send a message, we want to hang out with our friends, what have you.
I have literally stopped having channels in my feed because I think their clickbait titles is too much. And I'm just like, it's insufferable. Like, a little tease is fine, but like, don't put false things in the title. I will unsubscribe and never look at your channel again. Screw that.
It's pretty frustrating.
It's super frustrating.
Blocked that way.
In terms of
anyway, back to Ferrochemy.
Yeah, back to Ferrochemy. If I'm not gonna be doing the spinner because we don't know what it does, I think health would be good. I've always thought memories would be good.
Yeah, Coppermine's classic, right?
Yeah, and I will take this opportunity to share a theory that I had back before we knew all the ferrochemical powers, and so I've now had to move this on to maybe a god metal alloy.
Okay.
I always thought it'd be cool to be able to store emotions, and you could store like negative emotions and not have to experience them, or you could potentially store up something like courage. Like determination is kind of the closest it gets to that. But determination is a weird one anyway. I'm like, should have made it emotion. Brandon would have been cooler. But yeah,
that's very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, that would have been, and I was looking at like an emotional elemency parallel, and I'm like, if you could control when you felt what you felt, that would be pretty cool.
It's cool because it is useful, but you can see that being very heavily abused because sometimes negative emotions like guilt and something are very important for your and just having a villain that's like, I'm just storing all my guilt away so I don't have to feel that. It's like, that's good. Basically, right? Yeah, pretty much. Totally different magic system, but yeah, it's basically that, right?
It could also fall to some extent under like copper mines or like archivists because it's sort of...
You can store the memory of a thing that you didn't want to remember.
Well, that'd be cool, because I feel like in Allomancy, Brandon has been more willing to like play with what, like how specific a misting can get, well, that like, a steel pusher can get more specific But we haven't really seen in Ferrochemy someone be like, oh, I'm only storing the weight in my arm, or like, we haven't like let...
That's true,
we haven't been given as much...
That is true.
Yeah, I'm curious. It'd be cool to see something like that where they kind of explore the limits.
Super heavy. I would want Wax to do that. Yeah,
but that'd be cool. Like, you don't get your whole body heavy. You got a heavy arm, so you can do like a really big punch, like
or a very fast punch, right?
Yeah.
Just like a supersonic jab.
Mm-hmm. Shatter all the bones in your hand. Go, man! I forgot I wasn't a full Ferrochemist. Whoops.
Time for some hemalurgy.
You know what? So depending on, I don't know how mental speed works exactly, but I think that might be an interesting one to experiment with.
Yeah, that's like, one. That's like,
can I be dumb while I play like easy video games, and then I go and like figure out problems that have plagued the world for centuries? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem in general with like being just a Ferrochemist in the fairing is always like, how much do I have to store to then get out? A huge benefit is, for example, that mental speed. Like, for how long would I have to be like, I don't know, half my mental speed to then do something really impressive with it? Like,
that's why you gotta compound.
When you can't compound, if you can't compound, it's always like, do I really want to spend, I don't know, always a little ill, for example, for health?
See, that's why you got to choose wakefulness, where both sides are beneficial when depending on when you use it, right? Like storing health, you have to be sick for a while, but it's like, either I do want to be tired or I want to, like, that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
Also, I just want to make the daily shout out that the Lord Ruler should have never lost at the end of Mistborn 1, because imagine if you can compound mental speed infinitely.
Everything.
How ridiculously overpowered he is.
He does use physical speed, and
he does.
When he fights her briefly, he apparently does have a big store, but
it's all the hubris, right? Like that's
it's like he's being attacked by an ant, and he's like,
why would I need to use my full repertoire of powers? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the only way that you can get around it. It's just like, did he not think to pull the bands back to him when she pushed them? No, he
Yeah.
didn't think of it.
Or
It would
like
appear.
run into her and just like split her in half or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he could have the big punch with compounded strength or something. It's just
Okay,
like,
well here's a side theory, Eric, and you can tell me what you think or what you don't think, because it has never been firmly established if the Lord Ruler in fact has spikes or not. We don't know.
That's true.
I think I tend to think he did have at least a little bit of something going on.
Yeah.
And so I could definitely see Ruin like being in the room distracting him while he's, you know, like I think
that would be
I would love to see a
insufferable.
POV scene where like Vin is talking, but the Lord Ruler is really like is like ignoring Ruin the whole time.
Write that fanfic. You know, I tried to write some Lord Ruler points of view for MBI, and that was really hard because it's just like there's so much a weight of history, and it's like what to emphasize and things, and so many abilities that you could use at any time. It's like, oh my god!
Yeah.
And not even that. It could be Ruin, like speaking subtly in his mind the way that he does with Vin.
Yes,
when he pretends to be Reen.
You'd probably
and
need to
just
do
go
that.
in.
And that's more likely.
What is this? Not. I'm not gonna like. This is an insect. I'm not gonna bother with this thing.
Maybe Alendi speaks in his mind. Why, Rashek?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of good Lord Ruler fanfic.
Quan even. Quan would probably be more impactful because he hated Alendi.
That's true. But yeah, he'd have to. Ruin would have to make it subtle, because if it was too obvious, then it'd be like, I don't listen to this idiot. But like, the more subtle.
Yeah, and he's in the well, so he can only do so much.
Yeah. Cool. Let's grind through some more. Andrew Redfoot.
We actually have
what's up?
A super chat.
Super
chat.
We should respond to the super chat.
I think.
I don't know what that currency icon is.
That is, I believe, an Indian rupee.
Oh,
cool! Very cool.
Hello.
I wish YouTube had a way of me to.
But there's not a message. Okay. Very cool though.
Wait, how can you do a super comment with no message? Thank you. I just assumed that there was a comment associated with a super comment, but that's,
I think you can. But yeah, very cool. Gotta shout that out. Cool. You have new and exciting ways to support us. You can. My favorite YouTube feature is the super comment in there, in that you can pay money to have it highlight the comment highlighted in the video and in YouTube Studio. However, it is not highlighted on mobile YouTube Studio. It just doesn't highlight, and you can't search for it. You have no indication in YouTube Studio that someone has literally paid money. Thanks a lot, YouTube.
I feel like in YouTube there's probably an employee that was like, "Hey, everybody, should we like?"
Evgeny, did you just try and do a test for $1?
Yeah.
Could it work? Well, what question did you have for us?
You can't enter a message.
Oh.
It's just tip.
Really?
Oh, okay. Well, so it's just a tip.
They need a different name than super comment then, because somebody branded that wrong.
No, I think it's like super chat or something.
That is super chat, yeah. Super.
What is
you definitely used to be able to send messages with that, because I remember
it says it has a dollar bill and it says show your support for the 17th shard, and then it says super chat. Send a highlighted message.
So send up. Okay, everything about this is saying that there should be words associated.
Super chat,
I will
send you a screenshot of the thing that I have.
I believe you. I just like.
Oh, you can do a message. Rufus Ella donated £2. You can do a message.
Oh, you just can't do it for $1. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Arjun's too cheap to get a super chat in. Thank you. Thank you for the answer and for the donation.
Whoa!
Daniel Green,
1999. Just wanted to say y'all are great, and thanks for making the content you do. Seriously, it's a wonderful voice to have in the community. Also, on the same note, who's got the juiciest booty in the Cosmere?
It's canonically Delana.
Okay, yeah. Is anyone?
No.
Delana is type.
No.
Oh, the tie. Okay, tight.
Tight is not juicy.
Not juicy.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
I can't believe you'd call yourself a fan and
it's probably
misunderstand the deep canon of Dalinar's posterior.
Paleo, this is where you say English isn't my first language.
Not an excuse.
It's probably some Khandra who's really just like
that's
true.
That's true.
Yeah.
The Khandra can really ramp up the. So I'm gonna go with Milan actually.
Yeah, I feel like Milan and Shadows
it
itself
probably
was like
would be.
I'm gonna freak you out, and then it's like, by the way, I've got aluminum arms.
I had a mental image of Milan,
Blush Reaver's
and
good
she's
too.
looking like a normal, like a 7 foot tall woman or whatever, and then there's an ass that is like dragging, well, not dragging, but like bouncing feet behind her.
So body horror episode 2. We'll save that.
Yeah, like a thorax, a thorax.
So really, the thing that we need to do is say that you can put super things in, and then we will get money. I guess that is how streams work, huh? Because we also have Genzen2103 also submitting 200 Indian rupees. And Daniel also says, "Thank you. It's absolutely Dalinar's genocidal dump truck."
I
reading that on
got
the
a
stream.
point. Yeah,
It's good.
Yeah, no, that's
good.
I do always love like when we get like not donations, but just like seeing things from people around the world. You know, like that's super cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm just an uncultured American, and I didn't know what the symbol was.
Don't worry. Many on this podcast are.
It's always weird in Patreon because the Patreon emails come through with just the symbol, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the symbol of currency of like, oh, this person did like 15 whatevers, and I'm like, I don't. Is that a lot? Is that a little? I don't know. Are you in the highest tier on Patreon? I don't know.
15 agchakuts.
Very cool.
People love symbols. Everyone's gonna have their own symbol. It's great.
That's right. I mean, that makes sense. I mean,
it does.
It gets confusing when you have Canadian dollars, American dollars, Australian dollars, and New Zealand dollars.
They all use the dollar symbol?
Yes.
No.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
No, they do. They do.
Yeah.
They absolutely do.
Yeah,
but
that's very confusing.
In currency, you have to like say AUD to USD.
That's why. CAD. I've seen that before too. That's a good point.
Yeah, but like it is dollars.
But all currencies have their own like 3-letter.
Yeah,
sure. I'm just saying when it's the same word,
you can't distinguish based on symbol alone.
It's the same word, yes, but I don't think all of them use the S with the double vertical dash.
Those 4 that I just listed do.
Yeah, let's get Jess in here. We need.
No, I know for a fact. I know for a fact it's dollars in Australia. I don't need Jess. I've been there.
I mean, I know it's a dollar.
Someone should donate 2 million Zimbabwean dollars. I mean, like, look, I need 2 trillion, and I think that will be like maybe $1. Maybe I don't know.
I don't think inflation is that bad in Zimbabwe.
No, it's actually really bad. It's actually
is it that bad?
Yeah,
3 trillion?
Really yeah. There was a point where they just like chopped off several zeros off their currency.
Yeah.
Like, and it didn't matter.
I always wonder about that. I'm like, can we just get a reset to back when candy bars were 25 cents? Because
So that happened. That happened in Bulgaria when I was younger than 10.
How's it going, patrons? We're sure answering your question.
We love talking about monetary policy here on 17 Chart. What do you guys think about the Fed's recent moves?
I distinctly remember going from a time when I would like take 1,000. Let's call them Leos. That's a suitable translation. Take 1,000 and go like buy a bubble gum, and then they had a law change or a policy change, and then that was now a single Leo.
Oh, yeah. And that's kind of when I was in Costa Rica. That's what they got too. Is it's kind of like if you want to, that's like 500 colones to $1. Probably different now. It's been a couple of years.
Let's try and rapid fire through some other duplicate questions. Yeah,
sure.
So Andrew Redfoot, do you believe that not all the Unmade may originate from Roshar, aka Ja-Not, a splinter of ambition?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's super plausible.
Sure. Yeah.
I love the idea of them as being Odium's trophies from different systems he's been to, and he's like,
that's a great idea.
Either stolen investiture or like taken things that were maybe spren like, maybe not, and unmade them, and then been like, haha, here I am in Roshar.
I mean, that's certainly the thing with like the sibling being unmade that sort of
Yeah, there could be 10 unmade if Raboniel had succeeded, you know? Like,
yeah, and then that one has adhesion. Ha! Take that, Odium, and your numerology mumbo jumbo. Ha!
And then he makes new fuse for the first time, but they're just adhesion fuse, and they're really disappointed because their powers are not that exciting.
I can walk up the walls of your theory.
What is self-adhesion? Is that why there's not a 10th Bran fuse? Because Bran was like, I don't even know what I would do with that. It's like Spider-Man. Like,
I mean, Spider-Manning's pretty good.
Yeah, Spider-Manning's pretty good.
Just Spider-Manning, but like no web, just wall climbing?
Yeah. You can't web swing, yeah.
Okay,
next one. Miss Mage, of all the shards that have been revealed, which one scares you the most? And then list some shards like Mercy. Mercy is a pretty good candidate for being potentially scary.
Whimsy as well.
Whimsy,
we don't know a lot about Mercy.
Watch our Shard and Hybrid Shard live thing from JordanCon with audio that I'm disappointed with, but it was really funny. People were like, "Oh, the audio's really good," and other people were like, "The audio's trash." I'm like, "Look, I know."
Yeah, I think that like we don't talk a lot about valor, but I feel like that's something that's very open to interpretation about what is valor, what you consider to be valorous. Not.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
valor is in the same neighborhood as mercy in terms of which way it can go.
Could be very, very dangerous. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I think we will.
Same with honor, right?
Yeah, we'll see the downside of honor. I think increasingly as time goes on. Honestly, like I do think that Brandon likes to establish something and then question it, you know, and like, you know, preservation is the good guy on schedule, but we do know that like preservation becoming dominant over ruin would not be better for schedule.
And like I would love to see invention and just like invention with none of the other virtues that gave it context, right? Like that any of these shards are just so cool where it's just like, no, this is a 10 and all the rest is a 0, right? On the dials. Like,
yeah. And Dominion, I think could be
good thing Odium killed that one off. That does seem like a good thing that Odium killed off.
Not mad about that. That seems like I don't need the shard of authoritarianism.
I mean, is Ruin still a valid option? Can I say, because I think
Ruin's scary.
am
not often forgotten, but true. Like
and Discord as well. Like as a how many flips?
Oh, not canon.
Hey, there's canon. The word Discord is in the canon.
Yeah,
we don't know. We don't know how it will.
We shall call him that.
Yeah.
Discord.gg/17 shard, where you can join our Discord server and talk about Discord, the maybe shard, maybe.
Yeah, and I guess like for me, autonomy, there's independence, which I think is not such a negative thing, but I think there's like autonomy in that you're not concerned about others, which I think is not a good.
Oh, you mean freedom thing. Without any context or caring about anyone else's freedoms? Yeah.
Yeah, lots of freedoms to, less freedoms from, that sort of autonomy thing. But
shard of libertarianism.
Cool. Ryan, you have so many questions. I need to decide which one is cool.
We love questions, though. Thank you for submitting questions.
There's just 7 of them.
Oh yeah.
So I need to pick one.
I think we noticed that we didn't have as many questions as we have in previous streams, and we like self-corrected really hard on.
Well, there were also some that were like, invent a theme park. It's like, okay, I'll see you in an hour.
And we love a good tangent. We all know that.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
Let's do this one. In Oath. So this is from Ryan Lessard. In Oathbringer, Azure secures passage to lasting integrity by trading her knowledge of awakened metal to make a blade like the one she has. What's your best guess for the Honor Spren's use of this information, especially now that they've more or less joined the war effort? That's an interesting question.
Oh boy.
That feels like, honestly, I forgot about that. And that feels like it could be a seed for something further than we will see necessarily soon. But I think that's a really good question.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right. That could totally matter in the back half where like not only are like physical realm inventions like Navani's airships are progressing, but maybe like spren stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. Like spren could have Nightblood style blades in Shadesmar. Like that's pretty big for just them, you know.
Oh my god! Wow, that's right, exactly. Holy crap! Yeah, that's Oh yikes! That's scary.
I think long term it's important. Short term, I don't think they know what they need to do with Stormlight to be able to awaken. Like that seems like they know how they would do it. They don't have any breath for most likely, or very little, I would assume. So can a spren be given breath? That's a good question for.
Ooh, that is a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't even know.
Seriously, never been asked that. I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I have no recollection of that
Ooh,
question.
Someone write that down. That's a really good question.
Well, see, I have these questions now, and then in 6 months, Brandon will announce December spoiler stream,
That's
and
why
I'll
we have to
go.
write it down. Yeah, no,
that's why you have a list.
That's why I was just like, Grace, give me a question. By the way, so our next episode will be the second of our Herald episodes, and then we will have WAP episodes. So that's your next month and a half of Shardcast right there. And there you go. And meanwhile, we'll have Span Reads, Diceborn, maybe some clips, maybe some other things, and
other things.
We've been putting out a crap load of videos.
No, we have.
It's like
you know what I'm thinking about the question, and I wonder if the implications are less direct and more philosophical in nature.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why they were curious. I agree.
Yeah.
Because what Azure has is essentially a shard blade that's not that functions differently from a shard blade, right? In every conceivable way, and so it would be interesting to the honor spren to go, okay, so this is an entity. It's kind of thinking. Maybe it's fully thinking and fully sapient. We don't know, and it's locked in this shape, or at least we think it's locked in this shape. And here's how it was created. What does that say about us, who we also do similar things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I wonder if there's been lots of discussion. I don't actually know how I fall on it. About we all think that something's going to happen where the dead shard blades will be reawakened in some way, wherever Adel and Maya is heading. And a lot of people think that they're not going to just be healed and they're going to be regular spren, that something non-traditional will happen. And so maybe that's like a little, maybe they will end up more like an awakened blade where the personality can be restored, even if some of the other physical things than their more natural behaviors won't be. Or maybe they're just even wondering about that, like, oh, is there a way?
Huh. I like that. Oh yeah,
this makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if Brandon is interested in exploring something akin to mental illness in spren.
Well, Cell kind of points at that potentially, maybe.
Yeah, no, definitely, actually, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so you have these spren who were traumatized to the point of effectively death, right? And now they're back, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, that really is like increasingly a theme that you find in a lot of places in Stormlight. Like with the Radiance, it's obvious, but with the Heralds and with the spren, just like yeah.
Book 1 of the Mental Health Archives. Kind of. Cool. Lyriel asks, what do you think of the theory of Carbranth that this agreement Teravangian made will be the undoing of Todium?
Okay, which agreement? The one
so
that
I
Carbranth
imagine that Carbranth will be spared. And now that Teravangian is Odium, that will be like some sort of flaw that can be used against him. I really like this theory, actually. I love this theory that eventually, like, that will lead to a thing that Teravangian can't combat, because he made... It's also funny that he made the deal with the power, and now he has that power, so...
That is a unique dynamic. Yeah. I doubt that's ever happened before in the Cosmere, that someone struck a deal with his power, and then found themselves bound by the same deal.
Yeah.
I think it will be... My impression, this is just my gut, it's not based on anything, is that I feel like Stormlight 5 is going to be the Infinity War of Stormlight. and we're going to be left with a gap where like things are going to seem really bad, and there's going to be a gap, and they're going to salvage it.
Yeah.
And if there's a way they're going to salvage it, it'd be very satisfying to see Taravangian have successfully foiled himself by accident.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that a lot. It seems pretty airtight though, is the thing. Like I feel like Odium saw the obvious abuse of it, which was Taravangian becomes king of the whole world, and then everyone is his subject, and then he can't kill anybody. Darn it! So I don't see the obvious way that becomes an out, but it's possible.
Yeah, it's a really interesting idea. I also agree that there's going to be a lot of people who die in Stormlight 5. It's not going to go well. And then we're going to have a break. And yeah, you are right. It's kind of going to be like a book version of Infinity War. We're going to have to wait a lot longer to see any resolution. And it's not like it's just going to be resolved in book 6, right? Because there's like, no, we've got 5 more books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's going to be a turning point.
Yeah, it will be more of an ending than Infinity War, I firmly believe. But some of the loss, just the fact that Hoid's been tricked, I'm very, very nervous. Like I just feel like
that's not good.
Yeah,
that is not good.
Yeah, I would like the Kerbrand thing to be a factor at some point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never been able to think of a way for that, because like the deal is pretty tight. Like the deal specifies people who live there now and like one generation next to them, or I don't remember the details, but it was like either people there and their children or people there and their parents, something like that. So I don't like, unless there is somebody in Kerbrand who becomes important in some capacity, like maybe Taravangian's granddaughter or whatever.
We do have a herald.
That's his daughter. His granddaughter is something else.
That's true.
Was it?
We do have a herald in.
Yeah.
Probably.
Sava is his daughter.
Oh, Savri. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Savri, whatever her name is. Yeah, that he's never mentioned before.
I think this might not be a thing that necessarily could lead to Odium's ultimate undoing, but it could be a thing where it's like, wow, this would really have been tactically advantageous if I could do something in Kerbrand, and I literally cannot. And like that would be like, that alone can be really fun, right?
Yeah. Mm. I think it can be I think it can be important without being the turning point.
Yeah.
But I know that there are people who think we'll head back to Kerbrand for this last book in some way that'll end up being important, and I would love for it to tie back to Kerbrand, and then I would have to eat my words about how you can just cut Kerbrand from Way of Kings. Don't worry about it.
Well, that's exactly the issue with planning an adaptation before the books are done, right? Like, because but at the same time, we have so many frickin' places to go in Stormlight 5 anyway. So I'm like, and we don't have a lot of time. So
yeah. I do think Eastern Rashar will be saved for the back half, just because there's not enough time. We've seen Vorin Rashar, and I really hope that Brandon is prepared to explore not Vorin Rashar.
Yeah. Vorin Rashar, more like Borin Rashar. Am I right?
You can easily imagine a world where like Odium's power kind of moves out of Alethkar and like takes over the east. And then we are forced to go and hide in the west.
We got a reverse Sunmaker situation. Yeah.
I mean,
that'll work out great too.
Not even the reverse, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I think we've gotten 2 questions from everyone. Sorry for the few who posted a lot more, but I think this is good.
Let's post them again next time.
Yep. Well,
I mean, you can also like post them in like the Patron Lounge channel. Like, it's fine.
That's true. Yeah, we're.
It's not like we're not there. So you're always welcome to. If you don't have access, you just need to connect your Discord account to Patreon, and then it'll just automatically give you the role on Discord. We also have a forum that you can post things in that we look at less,
which we do. Always.
Which was down for some time.
It's more that there's not very many posts there. So,
hey, I think we have nimbly managed the transition from a format that is less common nowadays to a more common format.
It's just so interesting because I feel like in these days the kids, hip with the kids, use the forums a lot more than like people our age currently.
Yeah.
There is a thriving RP community, and
there very much is. There very much.
I don't know. Yeah, lots of things that Eni knows about. Or I said the Aeon correctly, but incorrectly there. Apologies.
Yeah. I said Eni. I'm not saying Ian. But yeah. So what is next? So yeah, we'll have another Herald's episode, which I gotta edit soon. We've recorded a number of things for the future, and we're recording many other things for the future. As we always do. But we do need to record WOBs next weekend because we got to do that.
Look forward to our new series, Cosmere novels as TikTok dances.
Nope.
Okay, run by Paleo.
No.
It's all going to be Kelsier animated. It's just the Kelsier model animated into those. Yeah. Perfect. You have the skills to do that, right, Paleo? Yeah, easy.
We'll give him 20 minutes.
Yeah.
More flossing.
I do have a mesh, but yeah.
I feel like I could do it.
I do have the Kelsier mesh ready to go for whatever I need. By the way, if you didn't notice in the Diceborn intro, that is Fortnite Kelsier flying across.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's
that's true. This is very funny.
Love it.
But yeah, we will have another stream where we sort of do a celebration for having 17,000 subscribers because we're the 17 Shard.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty crazy.
If you are not a patron, there are lots of things happening. Sneeze.
What if we do it on the 17th?
Salute.
What if we do it on the 17th? Is that even?
Is it a weekday?
Ooh, we actually could do that weekend. Ooh. I'll need to see if I'll need to look at our calendar because our calendar is really busy. Like, there's a lot happening.
You have to have a Diceborn recording or something there.
Well, no, I think our WOB recording is happening during Diceborn recording.
Yeah, we need a second recording
right now.
Okay. But yeah, we are. If you have not supported our Patreon, what we do, we have monthly art polls. You'll get to see span reads a few days early from when those come out. And we commission lots of great art. And so if you want to support us.
New poll going up tomorrow.
New poll coming up tomorrow.
Occasional live episodes. You could have heard both the Herald episodes already.
Yeah, you can already hear the second Herald episode right there. It's a 5-hour recording that you can see. You can see our nonsense before. You can see all that.
There's a 15-minute clip where people are in the bathroom and Arjun and I argue about reverse compounding and how that should work.
That is true. Like, that is true. What was that in that first hour? That was.
I don't know. It was in one of them. Yeah,
I mean, you edited the first one. Did you hear it?
Do you think I listened to the entire first hour of scheduled nonsense before we got to the actual episode?
It was during like a bathroom break.
No, I don't think we got to that, but that could be a good clip too. But
that could be. I've actually thought about that as a clip. That might be. It's just me, and it's just mostly me saying my opinions. I don't know if that's the best clip. Yeah.
Well, that's okay. But what else do we do on Patreon? You can submit Who's That Cosmere Character priority queue if you're at our highest tier and have your name at the end of Shardcasts. And we also do regular patron chats. It's currently labeled as monthly, but we might need to tone that back a little bit, where we'll just be on Discord and you just chat with us. Because
we just follow the Rasharan calendar. It's every 50 days.
Every 50 days. Rasharan monthly.
that to be fair, that's actually pretty good branding, actually. Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah, well, God, I don't know if there's anything else. I've totally lost steam and I'm just hungry.
We're doing cool stuff. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support. Thank you for your questions and everything. And it's it's a good time, and we'll have Lost Metal this November. And just look forward for whenever preview chapters come out, because I'm sure then we'll have our preview show as well. So in case you don't have enough content already, you'll have even more content.
Yep, the Lost previews, and it's too bad 2023 is gonna be such a slow year. But other than that, it's gonna be great.
Oh yeah. That's unfortunate.
Are we going weekly after a book release for all of 2020?
No. Just Lost Metal. Just Lost Metal. No. Oh, I'm noping that so hard. Though to be fair, if Stormlight, like, there's no way Stormlight is gonna be fall 2023. There's no way.
There's no way. There's no way. Brandon will make an announcement this year for sure. Yeah. Like it's not going to happen. There's just no time.
Like,
and that's for the best.
It is for the best. So, like, in the case that it goes spring 2024 for Stormlight 5, like, I don't know. I feel like doing every other week will be just fine, and we'll keep having like really good episodes that we can do. Because if we did weekly, then we'd sort of run out of stuff. Not really run out, but we would get nearly close to Cremcast before Stormlight 5, I feel like, if we did like a month for every week that the new book, the secret projects are coming out, right? So I think
you're on the calendar. Yeah.
I think doing every other week's good, especially if Stormlight even comes out fall 2024, which I think is less likely than spring 2024, but is still possible. Brandon,
they don't really do summer, do they? They don't have like there's no midpoint, is it? It seems like he either does spring or he does fall. I've never seen him do like a July book, well, at least not for a big book.
Not the big ones, right?
I don't know when.
White Sand Volume 1 came out in June.
Oh yes, and White Sand the Omnibus comes out in July.
It comes out at some point.
Yeah.
We're
not mad about that at all.
But Alcatraz is a small one, right?
Yeah. There will be an Alcatraz 6 episode, though. It will get terrible viewership.
I have to read 5 books to be able to listen to that.
Look, it's a fun book. It's a fun book.
Well, I mean, they're very fast. You can get them all done before you reread a Stormlight book.
Yeah,
which is true. But that is actually true. Because they're like 50,000 words each. Like, they're really short.
One of these days. When the last one comes out, I will read them. But I was just like,
Yeah, it's hard when you're like waiting for the last book to like really get into a thing. Yeah.
I got bluffed last time. I'm like, book 5's coming out. I can finally read these. And then I'm like, looks like it's time to wait.
Yeah. Maybe more Ship It or Rip It. Yeah, we probably need to do a game show thing, but I don't know if we will.
It'd be a fun stream. Well, like if we do when we do our 17 celebration stream, Ship It or Rip It could be fun. Although usually we've got such a big group that sometimes it's hard to play a game.
Yeah, maybe we can do like segments.
Yeah. We need to find a time to do a Shardcast game though. Like we got to do Among Us, like we've talked about playing Civ as a group. We've talked about playing.
Look, I want to play Secret Hitler. Okay,
I know.
I need to. Yeah. I need this in my life. I've needed it for like 6 frickin' years.
We gotta brand it as like the Secret Lord Ruler or something though. We
Secret Odium or something. Secret Champion.
Multiplayer a few months
Secret
ago.
Champion. Yeah.
Ooh, Secret Champion. Ooh, nice. Very politics with the liberal and fascist policies, but that's fine. Yeah, no, there's always more stuff to do. That's the thing when you're a content creator. There's always an infinite amount of things we can do and that we want to do. But what will we do? So there's different things, right? Cool. Well, I think that is about it for this time. So stay tuned for a bunch more stuff, and we will do that 17K stream later this month. See you guys.
Thank you for your support.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Ka.